Good evening and welcome to Derby Date Night, Nostalgia Edition. Tonight we are coming to you live from beautiful, luxurious Muncie, Indiana, home of the Ball Jar, Bob Ross, and Cornfed Roller Derby. Tonight we are celebrating Cornfed's 10th season, and we will be honoring individuals, both past and present, for their contributions to this team. My name is Aria Kidding Me, and I am one half of Derby Date Night, and we'll be talking you through the two great games of roller derby tonight. But it wouldn't be Derby Date Night without a date, so I'm here with my husband, Sirius Lee, who makes all of the behind-the-scenes action happen. We also have a team of volunteers running our cameras tonight. As usual, we have left the kids, OMG and LOL, home for the night. Zelda and Tears of the Kingdom are our babysitters for the night. You can find us here on YouTube and can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. Like and subscribe to find out where you can join us next. But enough about us and Derby Date Night. Let's get to the reason you are here today. You are joining us now for our first game of the night. Cornfed Roller Derby is taking on Brewcity Bruisers from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The last time these two teams played each other was in 2017. Brewcity won that game, and I think they won the after party too. I think I'm also still bruised from that game. That was a fun night. It's been 6 years since then, and these teams have changed quite a bit since then. So it's anybody's game tonight. I'm going to pause shortly for the national anthem. Welcome again. We are so excited to have you here for some fantastic roller derby on this Memorial Day weekend. We have two great teams here today. On the black team, we have Cornfed Roller Derby. Number 1, One Hit Wanda. Number 12, Rogue. 214, Spinelli. 227, Cosmo Payne. 247, Karmakaze. 313, Misadventure. 4, Boggs. 43, Daisy Doom. 440, Melody Mayhem. 46, Grizzly Barrett. 610, Alexecutioner. 64, Adderall. 7, Kelly Clocksum. 77, Goldie Blocks. And number 9, US Amy. For the white team, your Brewcity Bruisers, we have 040, Nat Geo Wild. 121, Bronze Franz. 125, Baby Got Snacks. 13, Mary Death. 22, Latina Heat. 224, Madame Fury. 28, Tenacious B. 42, Havoc. 5010, Party Bus. 56, Frau Kapow. 63, Jenny Dreadful. 642, Paminator. 96, Beat L Juice. And 975, Hex. The first jam has started, and we have Melody Mayhem as the jammer for Cornfed Roller Derby and Havoc for as the jammer for Brewcity. Melody pushing that first pack out to the first corner, trying to get through a strong group of 3 Brewcity Bruisers who are one is being sent to the penalty box. It looks like she is down to 2 to get through. Havoc is in the back looking at 3 Cornfed blockers trying to push her to the inside. While she is struggling through, Melody is able to get through to establish herself as lead jammer. Melody will now be in charge of this jam. So if she hits her hips, that means this jam is over. She is now scoring points for every Brewcity skater that she passes. She took a little bit of a hit there and is taking a second to collect herself. All right, it looks like Brewcity Bruisers did pass the star. So Hex, who was the pivot, is now the jammer. Melody has made it through for 4 points. She has made her first scoring pass. Hex is now Even though she does not have the star on her head, she is the jammer because there was a successful star pass. So she now is still trying to get out. She's on her initial, so she's not scoring points for anyone she's passing. Melody, on her second scoring pass, gets pushed to the outside and decides to call the jam. I think she got some points there. Looks like she got 3 points for a total of 7 for Cornfed. Welcome to all of our viewers tonight. We're excited to have you here watching with us. Love all the engagement in the chat and love seeing how much you all are rooting for your favorite players. And that whistle means the second jam has started. Spinelli, the jammer for Cornfed Roller Derby, and Bronze Franz for Brewcity. Spinelli pushed to the outside and forced to recycle, trying to stretch that pack out. Bronze Franz also being pushed to the outside. Both jammers trying to get through in these very slow packs. We have not gone past the first turn yet. Spinelli pushed to the inside. Bronze trying to make their way up the middle. Both trying to push through. 22 for Brewcity going to do some offense. Unfortunately, the jammer for Brewcity is going to be sent to the penalty box as Spinelli establishes herself as lead jammer. So Spinelli will now be scoring points for any Brewcity skaters that she passes. Cornfed playing some offense for Spinelli, trying to help her. 56 for Brewcity is able to push her back. Frau Kapow is working her way to try and stop Spinelli, working their way to try and stop Spinelli. Spinelli stretching that pack out, trying her best, and is able to get through for 4 points. The jammer is standing for Brewcity and will be coming in shortly. They only sit for 30 seconds, so Bronze is about to come in to try and get through. Bronze had not gotten out of the pack yet, so Bronze will not be scoring points as Bronze enters the pack. Spinelli calls the jam as Bronze enters, but not before scoring some points. So Spinelli with a total of 5 points in that jam, bringing Cornfed's score to 12. Our skaters are lining up for the next jam. Misadventure jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby, and Madam Fury will be jamming for Brewcity Roller Derby. Madam Fury pulling the pack out at turn 1, juking to the inside to establish themselves as lead jammer. Madam Fury for Brewcity will be lead jammer, the first lead jammer for Brewcity in this game. Track cut was called on Misadventure, who will be heading to the box. So this will be a power jam for Brewcity. Madam Fury pushed to the inside by Rogue is forced to recycle. Both teams just kind of establishing position, trying to figure things out. Madam Fury trying to find a way to get out. Penalty being called on 28 for Brewcity Bruisers. Misadventure still in the penalty box. She's still sitting right now. So, she just stood. So she has 10 seconds left in her penalty. Madam Fury getting really stuck in that right between turns 2 and 3, trying to figure out a way through, getting pushed to the inside, continuing to try and push that pack apart, is being pushed to the inside. Misadventure is now re-entering the pack and will now be, looks like, finding some space on the outside line to be able to get out. She's not scoring points yet, though, so she will have to put that star on her helmet. But Madam Fury calls the jam before Misadventure can come around to try and score any points. Brewcity was able to get their first points on the board in that jam with 3 points. So the score now is at Cornfed 12, Brewcity 3. As the jam begins, Alexecutioner will be skating for Cornfed Roller Derby, and Nat Geo Wild will be jamming for Brewcity. This pack is not currently moving forward. They are just standing still as both jammers are trying to find any sort of space and make some sort of forward progression. Nat Geo trying to go to the outside. trying to find any sort of space. Alexecutioner being held by a strong Brewcity tripod. Nat Geo trying to continue to pull that pack apart, making it to that second corner, trying to find that space, just has to get past one hit Wanda. And Daisy recycles and is also out there trying to hold. They are told to let Nat Geo go, which means Nat Geo will be the lead jammer for Brewcity Bruisers. Alexecutioner still stuck, looking for some space on the inside line. Finds a Brewcity blocker there to block her. Nat Geo coming into the pack on a scoring pass. Hardly anyone notices them, and they are through for 4 points. Nat Geo coming around now on their second scoring pass. Alexecutioner has taken the star off of her helmet and will now be looking for a pivot to hopefully pass it to. As Nat Geo has entered the pack, they just need to get past Cosmo Payne and are able to do so for another 4 points. For 8 points total for Brewcity. I can't tell if Alexa did pass the star to Cosmo Payne. The pivot, who was now the jammer, just has to get past one more person to be able to get out, and Cosmo is able to get out and is now your jammer. Cosmo will not be able to score points unless they put that star on their head. Nat Geo Wild also watching Cosmo very carefully, deciding whether or not to call this jam or let this jam continue. Looks like Nat Geo is going to let the jam continue and slides through on the outside to score 4 more points, while Cosmo getting a little bit more stuck in the pack and is being forced to recycle by Mary Death. Nat Geo approaching the pack again on yet another scoring pass. I think they were able to get a couple points there on the board. That was a huge jam for Brewcity, scoring 16 points in that jam to Cornfed's 2 points. Big props to Merritt for knowing who is coaching Brewcity Bruisers and looking at the program. Thanks for the assist. As the jam begins, Melody Mayhem will be jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby, and Havoc will be jamming for Brewcity. Mel quickly finding some space on the outside line to establish herself as lead jammer, but then gets swallowed up by a great play by the captain of Brewcity Bruisers, Tenacious B, and forcing Mel to call the jam. So what happened there was Mel established herself as lead, which means she passed all of the skaters from Brewcity, but Tenacious B was able to get up in front of her. When Mel realized that she was not actually out of the pack, she decided to call the jam because she decided to. So that's why she was able to call that jam, because she had established herself as lead jammer. Oh, quickly establishing lead jammer is Bronze Franz. Coming quickly out of that pack to jump out. Melody Mayhem stuck in the pack, trying to find some space. Boggs trying to play some offense for Mel. Bronze re-entering the pack now on a scoring pass. So Bronze will be scoring points as Mel is recycling and trying to find some space. She passes the star to Boggs, the pivot, who is now the jammer of record. Boggs coming around as Bronze has gotten a little bit stuck during that scoring jam and decides to call it before Boggs can come around to score any points. I don't know if you all feel it, but this game is so fun so far. Really exciting gameplay from both teams. I'm not sure if it's the music in the background or the Red Bull, but I'm having a great time. It might be the roller derby. All right, as that jam starts, Spinelli is jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby. Madam Fury for Brewcity. Madam Fury has 2 Cornfed blockers to get past. Spinelli getting stuck in a jumble of Brewcity skaters. Madam Fury is able to get out and is your lead jammer. Spinelli taking that star off, trying to pass it to the pivot as Madam Fury is entering the pack, tries to make an apex jump, is stopped by Wanda. Everyone is looking to find the ground. Looks like Spinelli has lost part of a knee pad as Madam Fury takes advantage of the confusion to get through to score 4 points. Spinelli still trying to push her way through, does a little hop to the inside and is able to get out. Madam Fury, still lead jammer, coming in on another scoring pass, is able to weave through the pack to easily score those 4 points. Spinelli coming into the pack on her first scoring pass, tries to get through, is pushed to the outside, it looks like, but Brewcity skater called on a penalty, and then Spinelli called on a penalty for a track cut. So Spinelli thought she was clear, was not clear, and is being forced to go to the box. So this will now be a power jam for Madam Fury. Madam Fury now having an opportunity while Cornfed's jammer will be sitting in the box for 30 seconds. Also a good chance for Spinelli to fix that knee pad. It's really important that she has a knee pad just in case she falls. So Spinelli's going to sit in the box, fix her knee pad, and Madam Fury is going to score 4 more points. Madam Fury has scored 12 points and will be coming around. Let's see if she can score any more points before Spinelli comes out of the box. She is standing. Spinelli coming out of the box almost at the same moment as Madam Fury does a small little apex jump and is thwarted by Cosmo Payne and is forced to recycle. Spinelli coming out of the box with just a fire in her and is trying to push this pack apart to be able to get through, and she does, and that was a scoring pass, so that will be Cornfed's first 4 points of that jam being scored at the very last bit of that 2-minute jam. That was a long jam, and it was exhausting to watch. I'm sure it was even more exhausting to play. A timeout has been called, it looks like, by Cornfed. So Cornfed will be taking a quick timeout to reset, to figure things out, maybe take a little bit of a breather and just kind of assess things. So we will just take a small break to kind of get our breath. I need to get my breath. The scoreboard wasn't working at the beginning, and somehow I'm the announcer, but today I was also technical support. And I got to help with the scoreboard, and it is now working, and hopefully, well, I guess I'm happy it's working, but my alternate plan was to count myself, like just decide, that I could count whatever I see, and then I was going to compare it to the refs at the end and see how well I did. So that was the alternate plan if we didn't have a scoreboard. I don't know which one you would prefer. I'm hoping it's having the actual score because I don't know how reliable me counting on my fingers would have been to score this game. Muff, I am rooting for you as well. It is so good to see so many past Cornfed teammates here, and we are celebrating you tonight because this is our 10th season, and we are celebrating, and we have so many skaters. Some of our original skaters are here tonight, and we've got some of our great past Cornfed skaters here in the chat as well. And we are back to the action. Misadventure is jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby, and Nat Geo Wild is jamming for Brewcity. Ooh, with a beautiful spin. Misadventure gets out but is forced to recycle, and somehow a penalty. Oh, looks like Rogue got a penalty there. I thought that might have been on Misadventure. Misadventure trying to get out of that pack. Nope, lead jammer was not established. It might have looked like that, but Misadventure is not lead jammer because I think she was being forced to recycle. Both jammers getting really stuck in this pack. Nat Geo Wild trying to break things apart. Misadventure being forced to recycle. Nat Geo Wild just has to get past Kelly and Boggs at this point. Misadventure continuing to be stuck in the pack as Nat Geo Wild finds some space to get out of that pack and will be your lead jammer. Nat Geo coming around on their first scoring pass as Misadventure is taking that star off and might be looking for the pivot to pass to. Nat Geo trying to find some scoring space and is able to find it, getting through for 4 points. Star was just passed to Boggs, so Boggs is now your jammer for Cornfed. So Boggs will be trying to get out as Nat Geo comes in on a second scoring pass. Track cut just called on Boggs. Boggs will be headed to the penalty box as the jammer, which means the only person on the track right now that can score any points is Nat Geo Wild. Amy, with a huge hit to Nat Geo, trying to get her out, is not able to do so, and Kelly in with the assist, also not able to stop Nat Geo. Nat Geo is able to get through for 4 points. Jammer is now standing, so Boggs has less than 10 seconds in her penalty. Let's see if Nat Geo can score a few more points before Boggs gets out of the box. Boggs is now out of the box. Nat Geo being just having a little bit of a tough time. Track cut just called. Rogue's favorite thing to do is be sneaky with how she gets track cuts called on a jammer. So Nat Geo will be headed to the penalty box at the end of that jam, which means the next jam that starts will start with a power jam for Cornfed. Cornfed is really going to be looking to take an opportunity with this power jam, as they started out quickly strong, and they've fallen behind a little bit. So this is a really good opportunity. An official timeout has been called. So these timeouts are not necessarily for any specific duration. And they're trying to figure out, I think, whether or not the jammer from Brewcity actually did receive a penalty. I think that's what's being discussed. But it looks like it's an official timeout, not an official review. So that means the officials are just kind of making sure they're all on the same page. All right, looks like the Brewcity skater is still in the penalty box right now, so it will be a power jam start for Cornfed. In a new strategy, both teams are currently at the pivot line, so starting a little bit further from the jammers. So we'll see if they stay that way. Sometimes they start there and then they immediately go back to that jammer line once the whistle is blown. Sometimes they wait for the jammers to come to them. It's really, as long as the skaters start between the two lines, the jammer line and the pivot line, that's where they have to start. And then the jammers have to be behind that jammer line. So they are not going to start at the front. They are going to move to the back, but Cornfed is the only ones with a jammer. So Mel will be jamming for Cornfed and trying to take advantage of this power jam and score some points. One Brewcity skater to get through, and in her signature move, Mel is able to get around and establish herself as lead jammer. So now she will score a point for every Brewcity blocker that she passes. She asks for some offensive help from her blockers and is trying to find some space to get through. Looks at a space on the inside line to be able to score those 4 points as Nat Geo Wild is entering and will now be able to try and get through that pack. This is not a scoring pass for Nat Geo. Or Havoc? Looks like Havoc is the jammer for Brewcity. Havoc is able to get through and will now be scoring points as Havoc is entering the pack, but Mel sees Havoc coming in and decides to call the jam before Havoc can score any points. So 8 points to Cornfed, bringing Brewcity's lead to 20. We have 14 minutes left in this period, so we will have 2 halves. We'll take a short break, and we may have some special memories to show you during halftime today. So hopefully that's something that you'll enjoy as we celebrate Cornfed's 10 years. Bronze Franz jamming for Brewcity, pushed to the outside by Kelly Cloxum and forced to recycle. Spinelli is your jammer for Cornfed, also looking to get through. Bronze pulling that pack apart, looking for trying to get that pack stretched out. Kelly and Rogue holding. Bronze continuing to sweep from side to side. Spinelli looking to try and figure out how to break this tripod apart. Bronze also finding a tripod of Cornfed blockers, getting pushed to the outside. Getting pushed to the outside again by Kelly Cloxum, who is going to force Bronze to recycle. Also, at the same time, going to try and give Spinelli a little bit of offense, as I don't think lead jammer has been established yet. Bronze finding some space on the inside, trying to tiptoe up it, looking for any sort of space they can find. Both jammers trying to figure out how to get out, and it looks like Bronze at turn 4 is established as lead jammer after a hard-fought, well-earned fight. Spinelli still working her way through. Small apex jump, and she is through with no penalty. Wonderful, wonderful job there. Both of them working incredibly hard. As that was happening, Bronze is able to get through to pick up 4 points and calls the jam before Spinelli can score any points of her own. Those were both incredibly strong tripods. These walls are really hard to get through for both teams. Madam Fury will be your jammer for Brewcity Bruisers, and Misadventure will be jamming for Cornfed. All right, as the jam begins, Madam Fury looking for some space on the outside, is unable to find it. Misadventure looking for space on the inside, and Madam Fury sees space on the outside again and is able to turn that opportunity into a lead jammer status. Boggs coming out of the box trying to provide some offensive help here, is asking for the star, saying, I will become the jammer, getting pushed to the inside after that star pass. Boggs is now, nope, that was an illegal star pass. Boggs has to give the star back to Misadventure, who then gives it right back to Boggs. And Boggs is being sent to the box. Boggs currently is holding the star. I think she was the jammer of record when she was sent to the box. That might be contentious. I'm not sure. Misadventure is still pushing through. They are still blocking Misadventure. No, Boggs does not have the star. Misadventure has the star. Okay, Misadventure is the jammer. Boggs is in the box. While that all was happening, Madam Fury scored 4 points and is coming around on their second scoring pass. Very, very easily is able to make it through to score 4 more points as Boggs is coming out of the box and can now offer help to Misadventure if she needs it. Misadventure getting pushed to the inside by Tenacious B. Great job there. Boggs playing some defense on Madam Fury, slowing them down a little bit, being forced to recycle. Misadventure also being forced to recycle. I am exhausted just looking at this. All the skaters out there are working so incredibly hard. And this pack has stopped. It was a fast pack for a minute, and now this pack is hardly moving at all. Brewcity trying to provide some offense there. Great offense by Beat L Juice from Brewcity to get Madam Fury out of that pack. Right behind her is Boggs, so there was a star pass at some point, and Boggs is now the jammer. Big hit from One Hit Wanda to Madam Fury. The jam ends. Brewcity scored 12 points in that jam to Cornfed's 0. There is less than 10 minutes left in this half. And I feel like I need more water, or I feel like I've been working out. No, I don't really need water. I have water, but I'm just tired just from watching. This is so exciting. All right, Executioner for Cornfed Roller Derby and Nat Geo Wild for Brewcity Roller Derby. Nat Geo pushed to the outside by Amy, is forced to recycle. Executioner trying to find space on the inside. Nat Geo trying to find space in the middle. Everybody is all jumbled up. Nat Geo starting to pull that pack apart. Needs to get past Goldie and Kelly. Pushed to the outside, getting some offensive help from Latina Heat. Able to do a quick little apex jump on the inside to establish themselves as lead jammer. Nat Geo is your lead jammer. Looks like a star was passed to Rogue, the pivot for Cornfed, as Nat Geo comes in on a scoring pass, trying to get through, looking for space on the outside. Rogue is currently the jammer for Cornfed, trying to find space on the outside as Nat Geo gets through for 4 points. Rogue is also through. Rogue is going to put on that star so she can score points. Rogue is now passing Nat Geo, deciding to play some very pretty defense to slow Nat Geo down. Nat Geo sees that Rogue is going into the pack and decides to call the jam and says, no, even though you hit me, I'm not going to let you score any points. One Hit Wanda actually didn't skate for Madison. She started her career here with Cornfed, but I would not be surprised if there is a One Hit Wanda for Madison. I know that in just this season, I think I've had 3 separate Madam Furies that I have announced. So, since we are celebrating 10 years, back in the day, we had to look at a database to choose our roller derby names, and we were not allowed to double up with anyone, and you had to choose a name that was unique. I wonder what happened to that database. Anyway, Havoc establishing themselves as lead jammer for Brewcity Bruisers. Melody is the jammer for Cornfed, taking off the star, maybe thinking about passing it to the pivot. Havoc with a beautiful straight line apex jump to score 4 points. Melody passing the star to Cosmo, who will now be the jammer for Cornfed. Havoc entering that pack very quickly, being forced to recycle by Karmakazi. Decides to call the jam before Cosmo can score any points. what was that database called? Was it Two Evils? I think it was called Two Evils. And you weren't allowed to, yes, Two Evils. And you weren't allowed to match anybody else's name. And that's why I was so proud of myself when I came up with Aria Kidding Me. Although I've never met another Aria Kidding Me. And if I ever do, I would be delighted to meet that person. Six minutes left in the period. Spinelli will be jamming for Cornfed, and Bronze Franz will be jamming for Brewcity. Bronze just needs to get past Rogue and is able to do so to establish themselves as lead jammer. Spinelli found Boggs and passed the star. Boggs doing a quick little hop to get out of that pack quickly. Cornfed has two skaters in the box, so Bronze just needs to get past two Cornfed skaters and decides to call it before Boggs can score any points. Timeout is now being called by Cornfed. We have a little bit over 5 minutes left in this half. Brewcity up 74-26, but for those of you who know roller derby, you know that anything can happen. So with this 10-year celebration, we will be celebrating in a lot of different ways. When I came in today, I received a button with a picture of me playing roller derby on it, as all former skaters for Cornfed have received these buttons so that we can be honored as former skaters. I'm also sitting very nearby some of our original skaters who are all sitting together and really enjoying this chance to see what Cornfed has become. It has been more than 10 years. Our 10th season was supposed to be in 2020, and we made it one game, maybe two games in before everything got shut down. So now here in 2023, during season 10 V2, we are finally able to celebrate all that Cornfed has been since we started in 2010. And it's just exciting to see Brewcity here again. The last time we played them in 2017 was so fun, and I remember that game being very similar in just very hard hitting and very, just a really good time. All right, Misadventure lining up for Cornfed. And Madam Fury lining up for Brewcity. Madam Fury choosing to find some space on the inside, but Misadventure finds the space on the outside to establish herself as lead jammer. Misadventure is not far behind. Misadventure called on a penalty. Will be heading to the penalty box, and she must have gotten called on that penalty before Madam Fury, before she was established as lead jammer, because Madam Fury is lead jammer, not Misadventure. So Madam Fury now controls this jam and will decide when it ends or let it go the full 2 minutes. That pack is pretty jumbled up right now. Madam Fury getting pushed to the inside. Looks and sees a spot on the inside. One hit wonder just not fast enough and is able to get through for 4 points. Misadventure is now standing and will be re-entering. Madam Fury coming in for a second scoring pass, trying to find some space, being pushed to the outside by one hit Wanda and forced to recycle. Misadventure getting kind of stuck, being led, given some offense by Cosmo, thinking about passing that star as Madam Fury is also trying to get through. Misadventure looks like she did pass the star. Cosmo Payne is now the jammer and is able to sneak through to get out and will now be coming around on a scoring pass. Madam Fury really stuck in that pack, deciding to call it off before Cosmo can come through to score any points. All right, Spinelli will be taking on Nat Geo. We've got a little bit over 4 minutes left in this first half. Thank you to our camera operators, Ryder, Creature, and Shelby. We are very delighted to have some help with our cameras, and we always feel our streams are better when we've got live camera operators, so a big, huge thank you to them. We really couldn't do this without our volunteers. Spinelli looking for some space on the inside, but Latina Heat said, oh, no, not yet, and pushed her to the inside, forcing her to recycle. Not sure, I didn't see what the penalty was called, but Spinelli was called on a penalty and will be headed to the penalty box, which means Nat Geo Wild will have an opportunity here. I don't think lead jammer has been established. Nat Geo needs to try and push, looking for some help, trying to figure out a way to get through, and finds it on the outside line, just getting past Kelly Cloxum, is established as lead jammer. So Nat Geo will now control this jam. Spinelli is standing, so she will be coming out of the penalty box shortly. Nat Geo going to come around and see if they can score any points before Spinelli gets into that pack. Spinelli has now re-entered the pack. Nat Geo trying to find some space. Spinelli also trying to find some space. Again, I'm seeing really, really strong tripods. It is difficult to get through. This is a very slow-moving pack. Both teams looking for offensive help. Nat Geo starting to stretch that pack out, has 2 corn-fed skaters to get through. Amy and Kelly holding Nat Geo as best they can. Now it's down to 1. Kelly pushing Nat Geo to the inside, is unable to recycle as Nat Geo immediately re-enters. Rogue coming up to help. Amy also coming up to help. Brewcity getting a little bit of offensive help. Latina Heat trying to help out Nat Geo. Boggs took a star pass and is able to get through the pack, but looks like, no, Boggs didn't take a star pass? No, Boggs didn't take a star pass. She just gave that star back to Spinelli. So Spinelli is now, I guess it was an illegal star pass. So Spinelli is still the jammer. Spinelli being forced to recycle. Confusion as the jam ends with less than 2 minutes left on the clock. Sometimes this is when I hear whistles, when people look this confused at the end of a jam. So we'll see if anybody whistles anything. The refs look pretty confident, though. I don't know if anybody's going to be having any conversations. There have been some great star passes tonight. Really, really fabulous star passes. There have been sneaky ones and just really effective star passing from both teams. Executioner for Cornfed Roller Derby. Havoc for Brewcity. Havoc doing a beautiful spin but that was, okay. You saw it. It was beautiful. Havoc is your lead jammer. Alexa taking that star off, passing to Cosmo Payne, who will now be the jammer for Cornfed as Havoc enters the pack and is able to score 4 points. Even though there's only 2 Cornfed skaters on the track, Havoc will score 4 points because you score points on people who are in the penalty box. With that being said, there's only 56 seconds left, so that means I think one more jam, because in between jams is usually only 30 seconds. So we should be able to see one more jam in this half. Stick around during halftime. We have a 15-minute halftime. We will be playing a slideshow of some great memories of Cornfed seasons past and present, which was made by our wonderful team photographer, Matt Ruddick. So big thanks to him for making this slideshow. We're excited to share this with you. Bronze Franz establishing themselves as lead jammer very quickly. Boggs taking a star pass will be the jammer for Cornfed. Both skaters out of the pack. Everybody's figuring out what they're doing here. Bronze pushed to the outside and calls the jam with 13 seconds left. That means that will be the end of the half. Thank you so much for being here with Derby Date Night. Don't forget to find us Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Like and subscribe. Right before this game, we had 198 subscribers on YouTube. I would love to get to 200. That would be the best Derby Date Night present that you could give us on our date tonight. We're going to take a quick break. We hope that you enjoy the slideshow and come back for more exciting, hard-hitting action here in beautiful, luxurious Muncie, Indiana. Welcome back to Derby Date Night. You are joining us for the second half of Brewcity Roller Derby versus Cornfed Roller Derby, celebrating 10 seasons of Derby in Muncie, Indiana. As the second half begins, Melody Mayhem is jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby, and Havoc is jamming for Brewcity Roller Derby. Havoc sweeping from side to side, trying to find some space, only has to get past Spinelli, is able to do so to establish lead jammer. Melody's still trying to figure her way out of the pack, trying to find some space as Havoc is re-entering the pack on their first scoring pass. Havoc sweeping around to the outside to score 4 points once she gets past Spinelli, and does so and calls the jam for a quick 4 points to start this second half. We hope you all enjoyed the slideshow during halftime and enjoyed some of the memories of the past 10 years of Cornfed. We hope that there are many more. Cosmo Payne heading to the line for Cornfed to be to start as a jammer for the first time tonight. Looks like, I think that's Madame Fury, but we'll have to wait for the whistle to blow for me to find out. Bronze Franz, I was incorrect. Bronze Franz is jamming for Brewcity, Cosmo for Cornfed. I think as there was a Brewcity skater who started in the penalty box, coming out, offering some offense to try and help Bronze find some space. Cosmo getting recycled to the inside, looking for that space on the inside, is getting stopped, looking for some help from Goldie Blocks. Trying to find that help. Goldie is gonna try and block Bronze. Both skaters trying to find that space. Both skaters getting stuck, but Bronze is able to find that space and get out as your lead jammer. Cosmo takes the star off, is looking for a pivot to pass it to. Bronze coming around on a scoring pass. Cosmo finding some space and getting through on the inside line. Bronze through for 4 points and calls the jam before Cosmo can score any of their own. So Brewcity's strategy so far this second half is score 4 points and call it. Score 4 points and call it. They've done so successfully so far, bringing them to 99 points, close to that century mark. Appreciate all of you here in the chat. I know that the Indy 500 is happening in Indiana. I am not native to Indiana, so I've never really understood, but I have been told it's a big deal. They go left, we go left. I prefer roller derby. Maybe it's just me. Boggs jamming for Cornfed. Madame Fury for Brewcity. Boggs pulling that pack out, trying to push as hard as she can. Madame Fury stuck in a very strong Cornfed tripod. Boggs also stuck in a very strong Brewcity tripod. Fury getting a little bit of offensive help from Baby Got Snacks. That is a fantastic derby name. Boggs able to get out and establish herself as lead jammer with a beautiful wave to the crowd. Madame Fury, looks like the star was passed. Nope, it wasn't passed. But regardless, Boggs called the jam. After scoring 4 points, Cornfed said, oh, you're going to score 4 points and call it? I think I'll score 4 points and call it. So that brings Cornfed to 30 points to Brewcity's 99. Okay, Melody Mayhem jamming for Cornfed. And I think that's Nat Geo Wild for Brewcity. That pack is definitely not moving very fast yet. Nat Geo starting to pull that pack to the first corner. Melody just pushing as hard as she can, just trying to get this tripod to move forward. Nat Geo getting a little bit of offensive help from her teammate. Melody just continuing to push as hard as she can. Nat Geo is able to get out and establish themselves as lead jammer. Melody has the star off and might be looking for a pivot to pass it to. I think she did pass it to Spinelli as Nat Geo Wild enters the pack on a scoring pass and is able to weave through, I think untouched practically. So Nat Geo will score 4 points. Spinelli with a big hit on a Brewcity player is out, behind Nat Geo Wild. Nat Geo Wild could call the jam here or decide to let this jam keep going. Looks like Nat Geo's going to try to score some points as Spinelli is also on a scoring pass. Nat Geo out after scoring 4. Spinelli getting a little bit tangled up, getting some offensive help from Rogue, who creates a nice hole right up the middle for her to get through for 4 points. Nat Geo entering the pack again on another scoring pass, looking for some space on the inside, runs into a wall of Melody Mayhem and calls the jam before Spinelli can score any points of her own. So both jammers scoring points in that one, and that brings Brewcity to 110 when they are over that 100 mark. Looks like we might be starting, are we starting down a blocker for Brewcity? Cosmo Payne jamming for Cornfed, Brew and Havoc jamming for Brewcity. Cosmo trying to pull that pack to the outside while Havoc is trying a inside strategy. Havoc being forced to recycle. Cosmo getting some help from Spinelli. Hex is closing the door on that opportunity. Havoc pulling things apart, needs to get around. Karmakaze is getting pulled back in that pack while Cosmo was able to get out to establish themselves as lead jammer. Havoc being forced to recycle back by Karmakaze as Cosmo enters the pack on their first scoring pass. Havoc quickly diving up the inside line, getting through it looks like, but that was not a scoring pass for Havoc, and Cosmo calls the jam after scoring 4 points for Cornfed. Penalty box looks empty. So we will be starting with 4 blockers from each team and 1 jammer from each team, with that penalty box being completely empty right now. Boggs jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby and Bronze Franz jamming for Brewcity. This pack is moving a little bit faster. A few people on the ground. Boggs getting pushed to the outside. Cornfed skater going to the box. Bronze looking for some offensive help from Latina Heat and is able to get through to establish themselves as lead jammer. Boggs passing the star to Rogue, who will now be the jammer for Cornfed. Bronze is entering the pack on their first scoring pass. Kelly Cloxam, looking very comfortable in the penalty box, is going to be there for at least 10 more seconds. Bronze scoring 4 points, getting through. I think Kelly might look so comfortable, maybe she has 2 penalties. I'm not sure. Kelly is standing. She has less than 10 seconds. Rogue deciding to play some defense to try and slow Bronze down. Bronze just needs to get past Boggs and Amy in order to complete this scoring pass. And Bronze is able to get through and for 4 more points. Rogue taking a second to reassess things. A little bit of a reset for everybody. Bronze getting stuck in the pack for the first time this jam. Rogue is recycling Bronze. And just taking a second, quick breather. Both jammers refocusing and entering those packs. Bronze finding some space on the inside and is able to get through to score another 4 points, while Rogue, getting a little bit stuck, is asking for help from her teammates, trying to find some space as Bronze is entering the pack again. Getting stopped by a strong Cornfed trio. Some Brewcity offensive help. This was a long jam. Both teams working incredibly hard there, and hard-earned points for everybody. 4 points for Cornfed in that jam and 13 for Brewcity. Currently, Cornfed's score is 42, which is one of my favorite numbers because that was my roller derby number, the answer to life, the universe, and absolutely everything. Shout out to Muff on that one if you're still here. I know that's your favorite number too. Melody Mayhem jamming for Cornfed and Madame Fury jamming for Brewcity. Madame Fury finding some, beautiful toe stop work on the inside line to establish themselves as lead jammer. Melody Mayhem out right behind. Let's see if Madame Fury is going to run it and try and, another beautiful, that was gorgeous. Beautiful apex jump on the inside line, calling the jam after getting all 4 points, holding Melody to 0. That was beautiful roller derby right there. Timeout being called by Cornfed. This is their last timeout. While Cornfed is gathering together as a team to talk about things, Brewcity's next lineup is deciding to just have a chat in the middle of the track together to see where things are at with them. Is that Melody in the penalty box? It is. Aw, dang it. Okay, Melody is going to be in the penalty box to start this next jam, which means it is a power jam for Brewcity. Also, if you're interested in seeing some fun roller derby highlights, we will be doing a highlight reel of many of our games. You can find on our YouTube channel some highlights from the Rockford Rage versus Cornfed game that happened a few months ago. And we will be adding highlight videos from different games throughout the summer. So don't hesitate to check back on our YouTube channel for more fun highlights of different derby action on our channel. Nat Geo Wild lining up for Brewcity with a power jam start with Nat Geo finding that space on the outside line to pick up lead jammer. Nat Geo calling for some help from their teammates. Little bit of a scramble mashup, and Nat Geo's able to find some space on the outside line. Both Daisy and Wanda trying to get Nat Geo at the very end, but not able to. Melody is now in as the jammer for Cornfed. This is not a scoring pass for Melody, as she has just re-entered. Nat Geo coming around on a second scoring pass, trying to get through all 4 Cornfed blockers really focusing their energy on Nat Geo. Mel just pushing as hard as she can with this strong Brewcity blocker group, trying to find her way through. Brewcity skater headed to the penalty box, so Mel has 3 Brewcity skaters to get through and find some space on the inside line and is able to get through. She's going to put that star on her helmet so that nope, she's not going to be able to score any points because Nat Geo is going to call the jam before she comes around. $18 minutes left in this game. We will be streaming one more game tonight for you. Lafayette Roller Derby will be playing Cornfed's B team, Muncie Misfits, so stick around as Havoc establishes lead jammer very quickly and is coming around on a scoring pass. Boggs gets out as Cornfed's jammer. Havoc coming into the pack, trying to score some points and calls the jam. I don't think all 4 points were scored there. I think Havoc was able to get 3 before calling the jam to keep Cornfed scoreless during that jam. Cosmo Payne lining up against Bronze Franz. Cosmos finding a great space on the outside to establish themselves as lead jammer. Bronze taking that star off, looking for potentially some help from the pivot. Is not able to get close to the pivot as Cosmo is coming in on their first scoring pass. Bronze still stuck behind his strong tripod. Cosmo breaking up some strong Brewcity skaters to be able to score 4 points. Bronze passing it to the pivot. Mary Death is now the jammer of record for Brewcity. Cosmo entering the pack on a scoring pass, deciding to call it before Mary Death can come through to score any points. Bringing Cornfed up to 47 points. Someone has called an official review. It looks like Cornfed. An official review is when someone would like something to be considered. I'm not sure what here. And what will happen is the captain and coach from each team will come out and have a discussion. But sometimes if you have run out of timeouts, as Cornfed has, and you decide to use your official review, then you might just use it as a regular timeout and not really actually review anything. But as I was talking, I'm noticing that the scoreboard has changed, and it's really Brewcity that called and used their first timeout. So ignore everything I just said. That was just a little bit of interesting Derby knowledge about how official timeouts and regular timeouts work. I coached for a little while. That's the only reason why I know that. Otherwise, I would have just skated. Roller derby is not complicated at all, right? That was sarcasm. Merritt, here for the puns. I am here for it. Any puns, always welcome in our chat. All right, we're about halfway through this second half and about to start our next jam. I see Melody Mayhem lining up for Cornfed. And Madam Fury lining up for Brewcity. Madam Fury pulling the pack to the front. All 4 Cornfed blockers focused on the blocking here. Mel getting recycled to the back. Madam Fury just deciding to push this tripod forward as best as they can. Mel continuing to also try and push this tripod forward. This game is filled with just strong tripods. Madam Fury getting past Spinelli at the front in order to establish themselves as lead jammer. Mel looking for some offensive help from her teammates. Pushed to the inside by Frau Kapow with a great inside hit. Mel has that star off as Madam Fury entered the pack on a scoring pass. Madam Fury trying to find that space. Mel is the one who comes out and is going to be putting that star on so that she can score some points. Madam Fury a little bit stuck in the pack, deciding to call the jam before Melody can come around and score any points. Since we are talking about the past, Aaron, I would like to, with this derby is not complicated. You know, it might be a little bit complicated, but it's a lot less complicated now because back in the day, there used to be a jammer point as well. So now when the jammers are going around, they just have to score points on the 4 blockers that are out there. But we used to have to also keep track of where the other jammer was because you also scored points for that jammer. And because jammers move a lot more, it was really complicated. Anyway. After that quick break for some more information, Boggs established herself as lead jammer real quick with a nice little tiptoe up the inside line. Nat Geo Wild in the pack, also just getting out as Boggs is coming in on her first scoring pass. Boggs getting, that is just trying to break things apart as Nat Geo coming around. Boggs calls it before Nat Geo can score any points. Boggs was able to get past, it looks like, 3 out of 4 blockers to score 3. No, she got all 4. She got 4 points. Very well earned, hard-earned points there. Cosmo Payne will be jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby. And Havoc will be jamming for Brewcity. Havoc, wow, quickly just hops over and takes lead jammer. Cosmo looking for some space on that outside line as Havoc enters on a scoring pass. A little bit of a mashup. Cosmo getting pushed to the outside. Brewcity skater is headed to the penalty box as Havoc gets through on a scoring point pass. So Havoc will score 4 points there. Cosmo getting forced to recycle, deciding to play some defense on Havoc. Havoc entering the pack. trying to get through on the outside, sweeping to the inside, getting a big hit from One Hit Wanda, calling the jam at the end of that jam. Some big hits in this game, really big hits, really tough roller derby happening tonight. It does not surprise me that Wisconsin has some hard hitters. You know, I do always talk about cheese, and Wisconsin is the state that is known for cheese. Rogue, number 12 out there, is actually from Wisconsin, so we do have a little bit of that Wisconsin toughness with Rogue, having one skater from Wisconsin. Bronze Franz through for lead jammer, able to get through that tripod to establish themselves as lead jammer. Cornfed Melody Mayhem is jamming for Cornfed, taking that star off as Bronze is entering the pack on a scoring pass. Bronze taking a big hit from Kelly Cloxam, but is able to stay in on 1 foot to get through for 4 points. Melody is also out of the pack behind Bronze. Let's see if Bronze is going to try to score points and call it. And she is. She's going to call the jam before Melody can come in and score any points of her own. Penalty box is open. You know, I've called a few games this year, and I feel like this game has seen the least visits to the penalty box. So pretty clean game being played by both teams. Not as crowded of a penalty box as I've been seeing in recent games. Great derby by both teams. Since we're talking about Wisconsin, I do know that they have at least one cheese castle that I have not been allowed to go to yet, and I would love to go to the cheese castle. And I say allowed because I was on a work trip, and there's really no reason to go to a cheese castle. Anyway, Madame Fury working their way through to become hopefully lead jammer, but got stopped by Spinelli, but was able to get through for lead jammer. Spinelli now taking a star pass. Nope, illegal star pass. Spinelli has to come back and give that star back as Madame Fury is pushed to the inside line and decides to call the jam. A bit of confusion at the end of that jam, but there was 1 point scored by Brewcity. I'm not sure who the jammer was at the end of that jam. Yes, derby and math are the two least complicated things I think that exist, probably. You know what's not complicated? Cheese. Cosmo Payne jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby, and Nat Geo Wild jamming for Brewcity. Cosmo pulling a tripod forward. Nat Geo trying to find space on the outside, breaking that Cornfed tripod apart. Cosmo getting out of the pack. They are forced to let them go, and Cosmo has established themselves as lead jammer. Nat Geo continuing to and finding space in that pack to get out behind Cosmo. Cosmo entering the pack on their first scoring pass and calling the jam before Nat Geo can come around and score any points. Melody Mayhem will be jamming for Cornfed, and Havoc will be jamming for Brewcity. We have less than 10 minutes left in this game. Don't forget to stick around. We have one more game after this with Lafayette Roller Derby taking on Muncie Misfits. Looks like a little confusion at the line. There needed to be no pivot on the track, and so Spinelli is reporting to the penalty box. So Cornfed only has 3 blockers for Havoc to get through. Havoc is trying to break that tripod apart and is able to and establish themselves as lead jammer. Rogue providing some offense to Melody Mayhem. Melody taking a little bit of a reset. Rogue, huge hit. Rogue was going in to play some defense and took a huge hit from Havoc coming into the pack. Havoc continuing to try and break up the blockers, is able to do so to get through for 4 points. Melody trying to find some space, sees a little bit of it on the inside line and then sweeps to the outside. Just needs to get past Latina Heat and is able to do so to get out. Everyone's attention coming back to focus on Havoc, looking for some offensive help from Brewcity. Finds some, calls the jam, after scoring some points and leaving Brewcity with 6 points scored in that jam. 6, 7, 6. Boggs will be taking on Bronze Franz in this next jam. Boggs looking for space on the outside, tiptoes along that outside line to establish herself as lead jammer. Bronze also looking at that outside line, is not able to find any space. Boggs coming around on her first scoring pass. Bronze is out of the pack. Boggs approaching the pack on a scoring pass. Big hit from Mary Death. Boggs sweeping to the inside, decides to call it after picking up 1 point. 1 point is still a point. And every point counts in roller derby, just like math. See, it's not complicated. Okay, Cosmo Payne lining up for Cornfed and Madam Fury for Brewcity. Here are those tripods again, those super strong tripods. Cornfed with only 3 blockers as Goldie sits patiently in the penalty box. Madam Fury breaking apart that tripod, just needs to get past Spinelli. And Wanda, Spinelli going to the penalty box while Madam Fury is your lead jammer. Cosmo looking for some offensive help from Karma. Finds another Brewcity blocker blocking their space, being forced to recycle as Madam Fury comes through on the inside line untouched to score 4 points. Cosmo has the star off, is looking for potentially some help from the pivot. She's not going to find it though, because the pivot is currently in the box as Madam Fury comes around on another scoring pass to bring that total to 8 points. Now 2 Cornfed blockers in the box. Spinelli, the pivot, is standing. Cosmo continuing to try to get through as Madam Fury is coming through on a 3rd scoring pass, easily coming through to score those 4 more points as Spinelli re-enters the pack. Cosmo immediately looking at Spinelli and passing the star. Such a sneaky star pass, very pretty. Spinelli tiptoeing out to get out of the pack as the jammer for Cornfed. Madam Fury right behind Spinelli after scoring another 4 points. Spinelli entering the pack. Madam Fury deciding not to call it as Spinelli is being recycled to the back. Great move from, I think that might have been Party Bus. Madam Fury picking up 4 more points. Spinelli also picking up 4 points to come out behind Madam Fury. Madam Fury looking tired. I'd be tired too. That's a lot of circles that they've been doing. I don't know if Madam Fury got all 4 points there before the jam was called. Looks like 3. Madam Fury went out of bounds during that, and so even if you pass them, if you're out of bounds and you pass somebody, you don't get that point. You have to be in bounds in order to get that point. So I think when she passed the 4th skater, she was probably out of bounds, which is why she only got 3 points at the end of that jam. But Spinelli was able to get 4 in that very long, very hard jam for everybody. Melody Mayhem for Cornfed Roller Derby and Nat Geo Wild for Brewcity. These jammers have been going all night long, just working so, I mean, these are tough packs. This has got to be tiring for them. The physical fitness that these skaters need to be able to do this is just admirable. They're doing such a great job. I mean, I cleaned my baseboards this morning and I got tired. I wasn't doing anything like this. Nat Geo Wild, I think, no. Okay. Cornfed skater going to the penalty box. Nat Geo has 2 Cornfed skaters to get through. Is anyone, I think Nat Geo is lead jammer, but is not actually out of the pack yet. Now Nat Geo at turn 3 is lead jammer. Melody is, the box is full of Cornfed skaters, unfortunately for Mel, who really could use some help, and unfortunately we need to get some Cornfed skaters back out there in order to help her. Nat Geo coming in on a scoring pass, needs to get past Wanda and Kelly, and is able to do so on the inside line. Melody finding space on the outside, but is pushed to the outside by Mary Death and forced to recycle. Melody finding space now on the inside line and is able to get through. Looks like the penalty box is empty-ish now. So Nat Geo on another scoring pass, pushing as much as they can. Has to get past Kelly and Wanda as Melody has entered the pack on a scoring pass and is able to find some space on the inside. Pretty little spin, but unfortunately is having a hard time getting up and is needing to take a little bit of a reset. Nat Geo entering the pack again. Melody deciding to play some defense as that jam. Did that jam go the full 2 minutes? That was a long jam. That looked... I thought cleaning baseboards was exhausting. That I think I can give that credit as being a little bit more exhausting than cleaning baseboards. One of them is more complicated. Take a guess which one. Yeah, the one that's more complicated is more fun. That's true. Two minutes and 22 seconds left in this game. We will be taking a short break. We'll show you some more photos. Stick around because we have a whole another game of roller derby coming up. And what better to do on a Saturday night than watch some roller derby? I know that's what we like to do on our derby date nights. An official review has been called. Maybe this time it actually is an official review for Cornfed because that's the one that's blinking right now. I think they're using it as a timeout, though, because no one looks like they're discussing or reviewing anything. All right, that whistle means the jam has started and no one is moving. Oh, because it was after a timeout, I think we still have 30 seconds. I always used to miss that one. But they're ready as soon as that whistle goes. All right, the jam has begun. Boggs jamming for Cornfed, Havoc for Brewcity. Boggs sweeping from side to side. Havoc deciding to take a straight up the middle approach. Just needs to get past Kelly. Havoc is established as your lead jammer. Cornfed coming back to offer a little bit of help to Boggs, who has the star off and has passed it to Rogue, who is now the jammer for Cornfed. Havoc coming through on the inside to score 4 points. Rogue putting that star on. Let's see if Havoc decides to run this jam or call it. I just heard Rogue yell they're running it, so I guess we're going to go for a while and they're going to let Rogue try and score some points. Everything is all jumbled up in there. Points are being scored. People are being pushed to the inside, to the outside. Rogue going up the middle, being pushed to the outside by Hex as the jam is called by Brewcity. 1 minute and 20 seconds left in gameplay. So we will have at least one more jam in this game. Bronze Franz is going to be jamming against Cosmo Payne. It's gotten a lot darker in here because I think some lights went off. But I'm going to say that since this is our derby date night, it got darker for mood lighting. As that jam begins, Bronze Franz looking for some space on the inside. And Cosmo pushing straight up the middle, trying to push through a tripod of very strong Brewcity blockers. Bronze Franz able to pull apart that Cornfed pack to establish themselves as lead jammer. Cosmo looking for space on the inside. Needs to get past one last Brewcity blocker, is able to do so to get out as Bronze comes in on a scoring pass. Bronze finding that space in the middle to be able to score those 4 points. Cosmo entering the pack but unable to score points because the jam is called. 17 seconds left in the period. Unless somebody calls a timeout, I think that's going to be the game. If no one calls a timeout, and that's it. 66 for Cornfed to 206 for Brewcity. What a fun game. This has been wonderful. Thank you for all your participation in the chat. I love seeing a active, fun, punny chat. And a special shout out to anyone any past retired skaters from Cornfed, and really any team. We appreciate you. We love you for loving roller derby and for joining us on our date nights. But don't go anywhere. We will be back in 20 to 30 minutes, depending upon how long it takes these teams to warm up. Go get a snack, have a beer if you drink. If you don't, have a Diet Coke. Come back, get some popcorn, and we'll watch some more roller derby in just a little bit. Good evening and welcome back to Derby Date Night, Nostalgia Edition. Tonight we're coming to you live from beautiful, luxurious Muncie, Indiana, home of the Ball Jar, Bob Ross, and Cornfed Roller Derby. Tonight we're celebrating Cornfed's 10th season and we'll be honoring individuals, both past and present, for their contributions to this team. My name is Aria Kidding Me, and I am one half of Derby Date Night, and we'll be talking you through 2 great games of roller derby. Actually, strike that. I already talked you through one. This is the second game. But it wouldn't be Derby Date Night without a date, so I'm here with my husband, Sirius Lee, who makes all of the behind-the-scenes action happen. I've also got a great friend and former teammate here, Slam Manda, so she's going to be chatting with me a little bit during this game.
Hello.
And we've got some volunteers running our cameras, so we really appreciate them for all of their help. As usual, we've left the kids, OMG and LOL, home for the night. Zelda and Tears of the Kingdom are our babysitters. You can find us here on YouTube at Derby Date Night and can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. Like and subscribe to find out where you can join us next. But enough about us and Derby Date Night. Let's get to the reason you're here today. You are joining us for our second game of the night, Cornfed's Muncie Misfits versus Lafayette Roller Derby. While our game earlier today was a competitive sanctioned game, the second game is a B-level game, which means we may see some newer skaters or skaters trying out positions they are not used to. Don't be fooled, though. This will still be a very competitive game, as these two teams have traded wins and losses many times. Should be a very exciting matchup. So with that being said, let me go through introducing you to the skaters you'll be seeing tonight. For Lafayette, number 12, Scar of David. 13, Thunder. 17, Radioactive Blast. 24, Mars Madness. 321, Skittles McBoom. 332, Mama Mayhem. 401, Wrath IRA. 5150, Drama Natrix. 610, Creature Feature. 67, Cheese, as you all know, my favorite thing in the world. 7, Phoenix. 777, Helen Killer. 8, BB. 85, Butts McCracken. 96, Susan B. Smampthony. And Cornfed's Muncie Misfits. Number 1, One Hit Wanda. Number 12, Rogue. Number 222, Eliza Death. Number 28, Debbie Darko. 313, Miss Adventure. 43, Daisy Doom. 46, Grizzly Barrett. 4726, Soul Seeker. 610, Alexecutioner. 64, Adderall. 727, Creature. 77, Goldie Blocks. 84, Bennett. 9, US Amy. And 926, Severina Slammer. We just concluded our first game of the night with Wisconsin Roller Derby, Brewcity Bruisers, playing against the Muncie All-Star team of Cornfed Roller Derby. It was a great game, lots of hard-hitting action, and we are excited to start our second game in just a little bit. I've got Slam here with me, who was one of the original members of Cornfed Roller Derby. I believe they started in a bar, correct?
Yes, that's right. Our first meeting was in a bar.
That's a great place to start roller derby, is in a bar, I suppose, and eventually I'm guessing you made it to the track. So we'll be asking Slam some questions tonight about just different things that maybe we can learn about Cornfed and how they first started in 2010. We will be back with you after these introductions and should be getting to the action in just a little bit. Again, tonight we are celebrating 10 years of Cornfed Roller Derby. Cornfed started in 2010, and we were celebrating our 10th year in 2020 when everything shut down. So this season has been season 10 version 2, so taking a second go at 10 years, and tonight is our night where we are celebrating all of our skaters, volunteers, refs, and everyone who makes Cornfed Roller Derby happen, past and present. I I think I just heard Cornfed say, "Aw, shucks," which I think is a great cheer. Slam, did you guys have any good cheers when Cornfed first started?
I'm sure that we did, but I do not remember them.
Did you anticipate the amount of corn puns that have come out of Cornfed Roller Derby when you first started?
Absolutely not. However, when we had the mascot of the giant corn cob, I should have known it was coming.
That mascot was amazing. I know my kids have gotten in the mascot outfit before. I don't know about yours.
Maybe a couple times.
Love it. Well, we are about to get started with the first whistle. And getting to the action of the second game of the evening. Adderall is jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby, and Mars Madness is jamming for Lafayette. Adderall finding a space on the inside line, establishing herself as lead jammer. Mars Madness also able to get out behind Addie. Addie's coming into the pack on her first scoring pass. She slows down a little bit, tries to get past as much as she can. She's going to let Mars Madness also get through. Mars getting pushed to the outside by Grizzly Barrett. Adderall forced to recycle by Scar of David. Getting pushed to the outside again by Scar of David. Mars Madness has scored 4 points. Addie is still kind of stuck in the pack a little bit, but able to get through. And Addie calls it, leaving us with a tie score of 4-4. I recognize a lot of faces on the Lafayette team from when I used to play back in the day. We have one Cornfed skater in the box. Official timeout has been called. Usually we don't have them this early in the game. I guess there wasn't too much to discuss. They're already done discussing whatever it was. So, no idea. Slam, you were a ref for a while, weren't you?
I was for about a season and a half.
Misadventure jamming for Cornfed and Thunder jamming for Lafayette. Misadventure getting out on the outside as your lead jammer. And Thunder looking for some space on outside as well, getting out about half a lap behind Misadventure. Misadventure approaching the pack on her first scoring pass, looking for some offensive help from Soul Seeker. Thunder approaching the pack as Misadventure sails through for 4 points. Decides to run it, so she's not going to call the jam. She's going to let Thunder try and score some points. Thunder getting through with 4 points of her own. Misadventure coming in right behind. Little bit of a spin, and unfortunately Misadventure is going to be headed to the penalty box for a high block, which means Thunder now has a power jam. And another Cornfed blocker is headed to the box. So there's going to be 2 Cornfed players in the box for Thunder to have a power jam. That pack is starting to move a little bit faster, and Thunder is able to get out after scoring 4 more points. So while Misadventure sits in the penalty box, Thunder will have opportunities as the only scoring player out on the track. They will sit in the penalty box until they have 10 seconds left, at which point they will stand. There's also another Lafayette blocker in the penalty box. Thunder able to get through on the inside for another 4 points. Misadventure is now back in the pack and will be scoring points on this pass. Taking a big hit, steps to the inside, realizes she can't keep going because she got pushed out of bounds and needs to re-enter behind anyone who was in front of her when she went out. Jam time comes to a close. Lafayette scoring 15 points in that jam and Cornfed scoring 8. So that last game we watched was a pretty slow game, and I know you said that looked slower than you were used to, and I told you that not all games are that slow. Are you seeing that with this one?
I am. It's definitely sped up. It looks a little more like it did back in my day.
Executioner jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby, and Phoenix is jamming for Lafayette Roller Derby. Everybody's all sorts of jumbled up. Alexa looking for some space on the inside. Cannot get around. Decides to swing over to the outside. And finds that space on the outside, but had some sort of a penalty and is being sent to a penalty box. Are the signs the same, Slam? Do you know what penalty that was?
No.
Okay. Well, neither do I. So maybe someone in the chat will tell us.
It kind of looks like a track cut, but I didn't see that happen.
Phoenix is stretching out the pack in order to become lead jammer. So now as Phoenix comes around, it will be a scoring pass, looking for some offensive help and getting it from Wrath IRA. Fabulous derby name. Love it. Wrath IRA was able to help Phoenix there so that she could score 4 points. Phoenix notices that Alexa is standing and tries to call off the jam, but wasn't able to. However, the ref was pointing at her, which meant she was lead jammer. I'm very confused.
I am as well.
Okay, good. We're both confused as to why a lead jammer can't call off a jam. So Alexa, regardless, is back out of the penalty box and trying to push her way through. And should be on a scoring pass. Okay, the ref is still pointing at Phoenix, which means she should be lead jammer.
Maybe he didn't see her.
No, he saw her. He was looking right at her. Maybe she wasn't actually lead. I'm not sure. The fun part about announcing is we don't ever get to find out. Sometimes the chat helps us out a little bit and tells us, and sometimes we can just make guesses. US Amy is jamming. I know you used to skate with US Amy. Is that something you saw very often?
No, that did not happen very often.
No, I also do not usually see that. So Thunder is also jamming for Lafayette, while Amy is jamming for Cornfed. And you can hear Coach Kent, Amy's husband, shouting, US, go Amy. He is very well known for that shout. Amy working her way through while Thunder establishes herself as lead jammer. And unfortunately, Amy just got a track cut and is sent to the box, where she's going to go think about things for 30 seconds. As she's doing that, Thunder takes a hit from Rogue to the inside line and is forced to recycle. But this is an opportunity for Thunder to try and score some points while Amy thinks about things in the box. Thunder is able to get through that pack for those 4 points and will be coming around. Both packs getting ready for Thunder to come in. Rogue playing a little bit of defense, while Lafayette is also trying to play offense and help Thunder through. Gets through and calls the jam, leaving Amy in the penalty box. She is saying, she's telling her coach, no, they said that I'm released, and so she is able to return to her bench and will. So the jammer from Lafayette was a little bit too late in calling that jam off, thinking that they were freezing Amy in the penalty box, but the jam had already been called, which I'm sure Amy was fairly relieved that she got to go take a break and does not have to jam for a second time.
Yes.
I know I would feel that way. Adderall jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby, and Mars Madness quickly establishing lead jammer with a quick jump up the inside line. Addie also following when she sees that space on the inside line. Mars Madness approaching the pack on her first scoring pass, getting some great offensive help from her teammate, but doesn't need it because she decides to call the jam before Addie can come through and score any points.
I just noticed that Bambi Lance is out there reffing.
Yes.
Bambi was at one of the first Cornfed practices ever.
Did Bambi used to live in Muncie, or did she travel?
Nope, she traveled from Circle City and told us to quit practicing without protective gear.
That does not surprise me at all. Bambi is one of the most safety-conscious people I have ever known and is very well known in the derby world and is such an asset, and we appreciate everything Bambi does. I did not know that. That's a really interesting piece of information.
Absolutely.
Misadventure is jamming for Cornfed, taking a huge hit from Skittles McBoom and is forced to recycle. While that's happening, is that Thunder again jamming for Lafayette? Whew. And unfortunately getting a track cut. Thunder is sent to the box, which means she cannot be lead jammer. So Alexecutioner has established herself as lead jammer, and this is a power jam for Cornfed, which I'm sure they really want as they are behind right now. No pack is called. Looks like we've got one jammer from Cornfed in the box and another one heading to the box. So that's going to make this a much more difficult power jam for Misadventure to take advantage of. Misadventure looking a little tired and not sure where she should re-enter and does not want to get a penalty, so is a little bit extra cautious here as that pack starts moving again. And Thunder is back in the game and will be scoring points, I think. Yeah, she should be on a scoring pass. Misadventure, after a very hard-fought way through, is out. And Thunder is out right behind her. That was not, it doesn't look like that was a scoring pass for Thunder. So this will now be her first scoring pass. Misadventure coming in on her second scoring pass. And Thunder entering on hers. Misadventure getting stuck behind Cheese. She was able to get all 4 points though. Oh no, Thunder got called on another track cut, so Thunder will be headed to the box again. There's only 8 seconds left in this jam, so Thunder will start the next jam in the penalty box. Alexa taking a huge hit on her scoring pass that should end with the jam. After 2 minutes of derby and 2 visits to the penalty box by Thunder, that was a tough one. So Cornfed will start this next jam with a power jam. Okay. I joined Derby after this time, but you all used to start jams on your knees.
Yeah.
Is that like, what was the point of that?
I believe that's when we had minors and major penalties. So you would get, 4 minors to equal your major. And if you started a jam and you had 3 minors, you would go ahead and false start. So you would get that, and then you would go ahead and go out right at the beginning of the jam.
That doesn't sound complicated at all.
No, it was terrible.
Alexecutioner coming out as your lead jammer in this power jam for Cornfed. Alexa is now on a scoring pass and will score 1 point for every blocker that she passes. Thunder is standing, so will be out of the box shortly. Actually, Thunder's dancing and standing. Coming out of the box after both pivots have also been released from the box as Alexa scores 4 points. Thunder looking for some help from her pivot. Cheese, while Wanda is trying to make sure that Thunder can't get through. Alexa entering the pack again on another scoring pass. Huge hit by Alexa. And unfortunately, she is called on, I believe, a high block for that huge hit. Thunder has taken off the jammer panty and will be maybe looking for a pivot to pass it to. She does so and passes it to Cheese, who will now be your jammer for Lafayette, while Alexa sits in the penalty box. So we have traded spots here, and Lafayette now has a power jam and will attempt to capitalize on that as she enters the pack on a scoring pass. And they have slowed that pack down. Wanda pushing Cheese to the inside and forcing Cheese to recycle. Scar of David says not all the way back and won't let Wanda go back too far. Cheese trying to stretch that pack out as Alexa has re-entered the pack. And both jammers are trying to find that space. Cheese is able to stretch out the Cornfed blockers in order to get out of that pack. Alexa, getting some offensive help from her blockers, is also able to get out for 4 points of her own. Cheese entering the pack again and is trying to find some space. Alexa sees the space that Cheese was looking at, and both of them are a little unsuccessful, but I think they both got at least a couple points there. You know, it's funny, I'm sitting here talking about roller derby as if I know something when you are actually the person who taught me everything I know about roller derby, because when I joined, you taught me things.
I did. I was a fresh meat coach for a little bit.
Yes,
I've done a little bit of everything.
They used to call new skaters fresh meat, which it's probably good that they don't anymore.
Yeah. Maybe.
But meat does go with cheese, and we like meat and cheese. It's like a charcuterie platter over here. Amy! Oh, no. Oh, that was beautiful. And she got called on a forearm. Oh, it was so pretty, but she has to go to the box, which means Skittles McBoom will now have an opportunity to actually not become lead jammer because Skittles McBoom had already taken off the jammer hat, and you cannot become lead jammer if you take that off. So this jam will go for the full 2 minutes, which is always a sad thing when you are out there and you don't. Sometimes these games are really hard, and it's easier when the jam only goes 30 seconds.
Absolutely. I'm tired just thinking about it right now.
Yeah. Amy is standing, so she will be coming out of the box shortly. Skittles is putting the jammer hat back on. The good thing is for both of them, they still can pass the star if they get tired to the pivot. So that could happen in the next minute or so. Amy passing Skittles McBoom decides, I want to come out and score some points, takes a big hit from Thunder to the inside, forcing her to recycle. Skittles looking for some space. Has to get past Daisy. Tough wall to get past. Rogue recycling up, and while that's happening, Amy finds some space and gets through for 4 points. Skittles also through for 4 points of her own. And we have about 30 seconds left, so they both should get at least one more opportunity to try and score some points here. Rogue playing some offense for Amy, trying to help her out. Big hit, and a low block is called on someone. As Skittles enters the pack, and Rogue is trying to chase her, is not able to get there in time. And, Amy was called on the low block.
Yikes.
That's difficult. Really, there was nothing she could do about that one.
No.
And sometimes when you fall, it just happens. If you're low and you block somebody, it's a low block, and that just happens. Skittles entering the pack again as that jam comes to a close. Timeout was just called by, looks like Lafayette, so they might be doing some strategery and figuring some things out. While they do, I always love watching a good dazzle in the wild. So our refs, I always like to talk about the fact that zebras, a group of zebras is called a dazzle.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
And aren't they beautiful?
They really are.
The dazzle of referees. Now, did you like doing more of the inside pack refereeing where you would be on that smaller circle, or did you like doing outside pack where you would skate around the outside?
Well, it wasn't so much what I preferred. You kind of have to start on the outside and work your way inside. And I only did it long enough to remain on the outside. And I actually commented a little bit earlier tonight because the packs were moving so much slower. I much would have preferred to be the outside ref at that point. Because they were really fast, and I just remember skating my little heart out.
It was just good cardio back then. When
it was
we
a lot of
would skate
cardio.
So fast.
A lot of cardio.
Amy is in the penalty box, but she looks happy at least. She looks tired and happy in the penalty box. So Lafayette will start this jam with a power jam before Amy comes in. And quickly Mars Madness getting through to establish herself as lead jammer. So we have Mars Madness, which Mars is a candy bar. We've also got Skittles McBoom, and we've got cheese. I love Lafayette. There's so much food involved in this team. Mars coming through on her first scoring pass, scoring those 4 points. I mean, really, we should just do an all-food name team. Like, that would be really fun.
I fully support that.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely enjoy being on that team. As Amy is entering the pack again, she's not on a scoring pass, though. She'll need to get through one time before she's able to score points. Mars getting into that pack, just trying to get through, getting a little bit more stuck than she was last time. Amy and Mars both trying to find space, and both of them finding space pretty much at the same time and getting out of the pack, and Mars decides to call it before Amy can come around and score any points. I can hear one of our former teammates coaching from the bleachers, which I love so much right now because it's just great having all these skaters back from a while ago, even as they coach from the sidelines. I guess you can stop playing roller derby, but you can't take roller derby out of us.
That is true.
Mm-hmm. That same skater was doing track repair earlier as well. Addie will be jamming for Cornfed, and Thunder will be jamming for Lafayette Roller Derby. Now, this is those slow packs that you were seeing earlier.
Yes. Looks tough to get through. Really tough.
Mm-hmm. Addie trying to find any space, just kind of looking for some on the inside, outside. Thunder able to push kind of through the middle to get out. Wanda is headed to the penalty box as the pivot, which means Addie will not be able to pass to anyone for at least 30 seconds. But, almost got through, got knocked to the inside by Cheese, and will be forced to recycle as Thunder comes through on her first scoring pass. Trying to find some space on the outside, taking a hit from Soul Seeker, but finds that space, and a little confusion because Thunder is headed to the penalty box. Is that the third track cut?
I think it might be.
Yeah, that's... wait, never mind.
back?
It was undone. She's okay, and no pass, no penalty, which is complicated, and I don't think we have time to explain it while we're calling the game. So just know that it wasn't counted as a penalty. Wanda also out of the box, which means the box is now empty. Addie takes an opportunity in that moment of confusion to get out of the pack, and now will be coming around on a scoring pass. Meanwhile, Thunder has re-entered the pack and is trying to find her way through, getting pushed to the inside while the pivot is watching from the penalty box. Addie is through for 4 points of her own. That was a lot of derby that was played, and I think only 6 points for Lafayette and 4 for Cornfed. It felt like there were a lot more circles that people did, but
There were also a lot of penalties, I feel like.
yeah, I think maybe half the people on track visited the penalty box. Sometimes, even though we don't want to get penalties, it's kind of nice to visit because you get to breathe for 30 seconds.
Get a little rest, if you will.
Well, we will be starting this next jam with a couple people in the penalty box. Looks like Goldie Blocks, who used to be known as the queen of the penalty box, but she doesn't usually go there as much nowadays. And the Lafayette pivot, I think Cheese. Phoenix is jamming for Lafayette, and Misadventure is jamming for Cornfed. Both of them being held by really strong tripods. Misadventure being forced to recycle. Big hit to the inside, but Misadventure did not go out of bounds and was able to stay upright in order to establish herself as lead jammer. Phoenix out quickly behind Misadventure. Goldie entering the game, and Misadventure sailing through for 4 points. Phoenix out shortly right behind her to score 4 points of her own. Both packs resetting, trying to figure things out. Misadventure entering the pack with a little spin and calls the jam before Phoenix can score any points. Looks like Cornfed got 3 more points than Lafayette in that last jam.
I guess if I mentioned Bambi, I should also mention Ogre. He was also one of the first refs that came and taught us what we were doing.
So what were some of the things that he taught you?
I mean, honestly, the basics. We really had no idea what we were doing. And he mentored me as a ref the full year and a half that I did that. So it's great to see those two still out there.
Mm-hmm. That is wonderful. I did notice this week they were sharing photos of the first practices. I have 2 things that I want to talk about. 1, it was in a church.
Yeah.
And 2, no one was wearing any protective gear.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that.
That's why when Bambi visited us at the church, she said, you really need to have protective gear.
Were there a lot of injuries back then, or was it kind of we're young and invincible and you weren't hitting very hard at that point?
It was a mixed bag for sure. I unfortunately broke my wrist in that church. Working on some stops, so maybe if I would have had on a wrist guard, it would have been okay.
No wrist guard?
Yeah.
Oof, that's tough. That's a tough one. All right, Cornfed took a timeout, but now there's an official timeout happening. Something's happening with someone's helmet. I think they're a little worried about. Speaking of safety, the refs, when they see something they think is a little unsafe, they might stop the game and make sure that things are looking good. We used to do gear checks before every game as well, where they would check our gear. Now they just kind of trust us to do it. And then if we don't do it correctly, they give us a penalty.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the new way. You know, you have to be responsible for yourself because we're all adults.
Probably a little more efficient.
Mm-hmm. Alexecutioner jamming for Cornfed, and Helen Killer jamming for the first time for Lafayette. Alexa trying to push that tripod out. No pack is called, which means one blocker needs to drop back. In that confusion, Alexa was able to establish herself as lead jammer. Helen Killer getting pushed to the outside, forced to recycle. One blocker from each team is now headed to the penalty box. So Alexa and Helen have one less blocker to get through. Alexa entering the pack, finding some space on the inside. One blocker to get past is able to do so. Skittles McBoom took a star pass there and will now be the jammer for Lafayette. So Skittles coming in on her first scoring pass. Alexa coming in on her second scoring pass. Alexa trying to sail through, not super able to do that. Skittles getting recycled by one hit Wanda as Alexa gets through for 4 points. Alexa coming around on her third scoring pass as Skittles has successfully completed her second scoring pass. Both blockers from both teams back in, so we now have, I think, an empty penalty box, but a lot of people on the floor. And a penalty is called on someone. Alexa getting pushed to the inside, calls the jam, but not before scoring 4 more points. Making this a much closer game than it was a couple minutes ago. Last game we were talking about how complicated math is, and normally, I didn't do this at all last game, but usually I try to figure out how many points it is between teams, and I try to do math. So
Fast
74
math.
minus 58. Hold on. 68. 16.
Okay.
Do I win? Did it?
Yes.
Okay.
I said so.
Rogue jamming for Cornfed Roller Derby and Mars Madness jamming for Lafayette. Rogue has just got to get past Scara. David is able to do so, but wait, who is jammer? Who's lead jammer? Is it Rogue?
Yes.
Woo, just barely. Rogue is lead jammer, but Mars Madness got out at pretty much the same time. Both of them hitting the pack. Rogue is not going to call it. Mars getting pushed to the inside. Rogue getting recycled on the outside. Somebody has a penalty. Looks like it's the Lafayette pivot. Rogue gets through while Mars is still stuck in the pack. So Rogue has 4 points, but Mars also getting out with 4 points of her own. Rogue entering the pack again, getting much more tangled up this time, but really everybody is kind of like getting pulled apart there. So Rogue gets out for 4 more points. Mars right behind Rogue for another 4. Rogue looking a little disappointed and shouting, "Hey, why are you behind me again?" So Rogue hits the pack and calls it, hoping she can at least get a few more points here, and is able to get 3 more points, bringing Cornfed's total 69 to 82. Slam, it's your turn to do the math.
Oh, no.
I think it's 13.
That sounds about right. Yep.
And the in-house announcer just said 13, confirming that
We're good.
you never know. When you announce with me, I might make you do math. Or explain roller derby rules. I mean, you should be good at both because you understood minors and majors. And now we just have penalties.
That is true.
Now, this has been a penalty-heavy game so far, and if you get 7 of those penalties, you are out of the game. So I think there's a few people that are already at 4. So we'll try to pay attention and see if anybody is on
their way out.
Addie finding some space and establishing herself as lead jammer. Thunder also out there jamming for Lafayette. Soul trying to push Thunder out to the outside, was unable to do so. So Thunder is out behind Addie. Addie entering the pack on a scoring pass. She's got about half a lap in front of Thunder. Pushed to the outside, forced to recycle, decides to call it before Thunder can score any points, but is not able to get any points there. You only get points if you pass people from the other team. I remember that strategy was always difficult because you had to figure out quickly when you're a blocker whether your jammer or the other person's jammer was lead, and then if yours was lead, you wanted to get to the front. Mm-hmm. And that was a lot of things to think about, and you usually had about 5 seconds to do it.
As you're roller skating.
Yeah, and trying not to get hit.
Yes.
Okay, Misadventure jamming for Cornfed, and Lafayette is Phoenix. Phoenix getting some help from her pivot. Wrath IRA. Amy noticing and not able to stop Phoenix, so Phoenix gets out as lead jammer. Misadventure coming out as well right behind her. So Phoenix is going to try to score some points before Misadventure can come in and score any of her own. Phoenix was able to call it just in time and picks up 2 points.
Can you imagine having to keep score of the minors and the majors for every
No.
single player?
I couldn't even understand the jammer lap point when that was happening, and I've been doing this for, well, you did it longer, but I've been involved in this for a long time, and I understand the track cut signal, but I do not get anything else. There's been an official review or official timeout. Not an official review. Official review is called by the skaters. Official timeout is called by the reps. And this is where somebody... okay, here's my guess. I love to play guessing games.
Okay.
But when Alexa was coming around here on turn 1, I saw her foot go out. But no, because she didn't pass anybody. So that wouldn't be what they're reviewing. I don't know. Sometimes Ogre comes over afterwards and tells me.
Oh, that's
which
nice.
is nice. Do you have any guesses? The chat has been very quiet. The chat was very lively during the Brew City game, and this is a pretty quiet chat. I know we've got some people out there listening, so if you have any guesses what this official timeout is about, or it could be about cheese.
As in the food or the player?
Well, I was thinking mozzarella sticks or like what kind of cheese they're going to have later, but maybe it could. Cheese is out there, but I'm not sure.
You know, sometimes they just have a review to talk about a penalty that keeps occurring and maybe talk about why it is or if it's legit or if it's the same player, that kind of thing. Maybe they needed a break.
Yeah, that's what I was always wondering. Do they keep it really professional in those circles, or do they also sometimes just chat a little bit?
You know, I would say they keep it pretty professional, but from time to time there are some chats. It does happen.
I was told a story earlier tonight about a ref who normally doesn't watch the games, was watching a game with someone and was watching an official timeout and said, "Are these always this long?" And I guess you don't notice it when you're actually in the conversation, how long we sit and watch the dazzle of referees discuss things. So, yes, sometimes they are this long. Okay. It looks like there's a conversation happening between the captains and the coaches. Shotgun Mike, one of our refs, who is speaking with them about something, and sometimes we find out about it. So we'll figure out what that is. While we wait, though, this channel is Derby Date Night Slam. So my husband and I really enjoy doing derby things together. And I think that you also have an experience of something that is kind of like Derby Date Night because your husband has also been involved in derby.
That is true. That is true. So when I started playing, he actually was a referee. So it was taking up so much of my time. He wanted to learn about it, and he became a ref. He did that for about that first season, and then he became the Cornfed coach.
And what was his derby name?
Tony Hawker.
Love it. Love it. I see Derby Date Night is great. And I'm noticing Melody Mayhem listening in. She also enjoys her own Derby Date Night because Shotgun Mike, who I was just talking about, happens to be her husband. So there are lots of couples that derby together, stay together, right?
Absolutely.
It's a great Derby Date Night to do things with your partner. Although, what happens when your partner calls you on a penalty and then you have to go home later and discuss it? That's my question. Did that ever happen to you?
It didn't. When I first started, I really didn't play a whole lot. I was like in the very beginning times when we scrimmaged and whatnot. So we had maybe like 4 or 5 bouts that first season. But no, Mr. Hawker never called me on a penalty.
Mr. Hawker, I like that.
He did coach me for a little bit when I had a brief comeback, and I did not like that.
Yes, I remember because I was learning to skate when he was coaching you, and it would be the 3 of us sometimes, and I was learning and he was trying to coach you, and I think that's when we really became friends.
I think so, yeah.
It was through that. That was quite fun.
Yeah.
I'm hearing from Bon Appetit that it is a quiet car ride home when you get called on a penalty by your partner.
Nice.
Thank you for that.
Nice.
Yeah, they got married too. So many marriages.
See? Yeah.
Boney and Richie Bona and Richie Cranium, which is another fantastic Derby name.
401 IRA was expelled
Oh.
for an egregious direction of gameplay penalty.
401 Wrath IRA was expelled for an egregious gameplay penalty. So what that means is there was something that happened that was illegal enough that the skater will not be able to play for the rest of the game. So, egregious. Would you like to define egregious, Melody? Over the top is what she's saying. She's not on the mic, but Melody Mayhem is also participating in our conversation tonight, which is much appreciated. The more people to talk to, the better. Alexecutioner is... Woo! Okay. She was called on a forearm, so that means it's a power jam for Helen Killer. So Alexa will go sit in the penalty box for 30 seconds. She will join the Lafayette pivot who started the jam there. Helen being pushed to the outside by One Hit Wanda. So forced to recycle as everybody kind of gathers their thoughts here. Helen just deciding to push forward. Soulseeker and Wanda really working on keeping her from making that forward progress. Directional is called on, looks like Daisy Doom, so she'll be heading to the penalty box as Alexa is coming out of the penalty box. And the pivot for Lafayette is also out of the penalty box. Alexa is almost through. She just has to get past Cheese. And another Lafayette player. Oh, now there's three. The cool thing about Derby is you think you're through, and you're past everybody, and you only have one person left, and then you get past them, and then there's two more in front of you.
Yeah.
Just happens. But during all that, Helen Killer was able to get through to establish herself as lead jammer. I think for the first time tonight, Helen is gotten that lead jammer status.
She had to work for it, though.
Oh, yeah,
She
that was a
did.
hard one.
Mm-hmm.
Watching Derby is almost, no, it's not more tiring. I'm sure they're more tired, but I feel tired. Good job, Helen Killer, getting through on the inside to score 4 more points, or 4 points. That was her first scoring pass. But Alexa also getting through. She does not get any points, though, because that was her first time through. So she'll be coming around, but she's not going to be able to score any points because Helen is going to call it before she can. There is under 2 minutes left in this first half. This goes so much faster when I have someone to talk to. I really enjoy this. Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. This is fun.
I'm glad that you're enjoying it. Hopefully I can convince you to get on the mic a little bit more often.
I definitely think I need some headphones, though.
I know. I've been
I need to
asking.
be cool like that.
So I've been asking for headphones, but instead, my husband seriously decided to spend money on something that gives him the ability to show slideshows. So
Well,
instead, tonight we got a slideshow.
And you know what? I'm in that slideshow, so I fully support that decision today.
Rogue is out as lead jammer for Cornfed. And where's the jam? Who's the jammer for Lafayette?
She
Helen
went to
Killer.
the box.
Oh, she went to the box at the end of that jam. I missed that one. So Rogue has a power jam. And we'll be trying to capitalize on that as this game is still pretty close. Helen is out of the box and will be entering after Rogue has scored 4 points. Helen taking off that star, quickly passing it to, I think, is that Mars? No, Susan B. Slamthony?
I love a good slam.
Rogue through for 4 more points. It is Mars Madness. It said Susan B. Slamthony, which I love that name, but Mars Madness through for 4 points of her own. Rogue coming in to try and get 4 more. Running to the outside is able to score another 4. She is going to let that jam go and hope that the blockers can hold Mars Madness, who is being pushed to the, I think, outside and forced to recycle as Rogue is re-entering. Mars gets through, but Rogue also gets through. Rogue having outscored Mars by 8 so far in this jam. Going to continue to run it as the period clock time has ended. So this will be the last jam of the first half. Rogue trying to capitalize on this, but Mars getting out, Rogue getting out too. So Lafayette hitting that century mark, hitting 100 points for the first time in this game. Rogue continuing. Nope, Rogue decided to say, let's call it there. We are down by 12. This is a pretty close game.
Yes.
Do you see how quick I did that math?
That was good.
That was good.
I'm
That was
impressed.
good. I have been told by my husband that we have some snack cheese. So we will be taking a cheese break during
Excellent.
intermission, and we'll be back with more after the half. And welcome back to Derby Date Night. You are joining us for the second half of Lafayette Roller Derby versus Cornfed Roller Derby. We've had a very exciting first half with only 12 points separating these two teams. You're with me, Are Ya Kidding Me? And Slamanda, one of our original Cornfed skaters, as well as Seriously, my partner here for Derby Date Night, doing all the technical stuff. All right, you've got Alexecutioner for Cornfed and Skittles McBoom for Lafayette Roller Derby. Alexa looking to find some space on the inside, is unable to get through. Skittles able to get out, but not lead jammer. So Alexa could still establish lead jammer if she can get past this last skater. She gets past and is called lead jammer, does not call the jam, as Skittles enters the pack on her first scoring pass. Alexa weaving her way through, has one Lafayette skater to get past. She is able to push her way past Cheese to score 4 points. Skittles getting caught up in some strong corn-fed blocking, has taken the jammer panty off. Someone is called on a track cut. Looks like that was Skittles McBoom, and she will be headed back to the penalty box, and Alexecutioner now has a power jam. This is a great opportunity for Cornfed to score some points and dig into that lead that Lafayette has. Alexa pushed to the outside. Cheese is recycling her, so Alexa has to enter in behind Cheese. The corn-fed blockers making sure Cheese can't go back too far. Alexa is re-entering, trying to get some help from the corn-fed blockers. Skittles is standing in the penalty box, so less than 10 seconds left. Alexa continuing to push. Will call the jam to end that jam with Skittles. She was hoping she called it soon enough, but it looks like Skittles was released from the penalty box before she called it. I think that's the second time that's happened tonight. I was waiting for you to say something, but I realized I didn't ask a question. And so, yeah, that was the second time that's happened tonight.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Addie is lining up for Cornfed, and I can't tell who it is for Lafayette, but we'll know when the whistle blows. It is Mars Madness. Addie trying to get through, but Mars Madness sneaks through on the inside to establish lead jammer. Addie finding some space on the inside to follow right behind. Addie is going as fast as she can, trying to catch up. Let's see if Mars is going to call it or if she is going to let Addie try and score some points. She called it, but not before stealing a point. So that was a 1-1 jam, which means nobody made any forward progress. Well, they both made forward progress, but
At the same pace.
yeah, same pace. Cornfed is down by 9, so they've cut into that lead by 3. I keep doing math, and I really should stop.
This fast math. I'm impressed by the fast math. I really
I know,
am.
but usually I don't attempt this much math.
I think I give you a confidence, maybe.
Right, yeah. I
think
I'm
that's-
going to get overconfident, and then I'm going to do something really wrong. Oh, yep, I did something really wrong. I'm getting too far away from the mic, according to my date for the evening. Thunder establishing herself as lead jammer. Miss Adventure doing a quick spin, thinking she was clear and was not, and called on a track cut. So this will be a power jam for Lafayette. A chance to score some points with a little bit of a Everybody was falling, but everybody's okay. And in the confusion, Thunder got through for 4 points. Thunder coming around while Misadventure waits patiently in the penalty box for her turn to come out. Thunder asking for her team to do some offense, make that pack move, separate it so that she is able to get through. Takes a big hit from, I think, Goldie, and decides to call the jam while Misadventure is standing in the box. So Misadventure has less than 10 seconds left to wait in the box, while Lafayette will start this jam with a power jam.
I wonder how long Thunder has been playing. She looks really familiar.
Thunder used to have really long hair with the braids.
Yep.
And I remember playing against Thunder in my day. Do you? Is that you recognize her?
I do.
Mhm.
That's a long time.
It's a very long time.
Go Thunder.
Right? We have both retired because we're tired. Hey, the word tired is in retired.
Yes. That's purposeful.
The things that you notice sometimes, I don't know. Phoenix is jamming for Lafayette. And Misadventure came out of the box to grab lead jammer, which is always a great goal, is when you start in the box if you can get out and get lead jammers. So Misadventure was able to do that. Phoenix still kind of getting trapped in the pack, trying to find some space, is not finding it, but Misadventure does, picking up 4 points. Phoenix also getting out of the pack. Misadventure on a scoring pass coming in is able to get through for 4 points very quickly. Phoenix trying to do the same is stopped by Cornfed blockers as Misadventure coming around again. Phoenix still stuck in that pack. So this is a great opportunity for Misadventure to really cut into that lead here. Phoenix was able to get through there and does get those 4 points, but Misadventure just has to get past Scar of David, is able to do so. Phoenix is approaching the pack again. Looks like Misadventure is not going to call it, trusting in the Cornfed blockers to hold Phoenix here. Misadventure, seeing a space on the inside, goes through untouched for 4 more points. This is now 4 points that are separating these two teams. 23 seconds left in this jam. Misadventure looking to find that space again. Phoenix also, I think, got those 4 points. Misadventure, is a tie game right now. Misadventure coming through again. 1 second left. Woo. I thought Phoenix did get 4 points, though, so it was not a tie game because Phoenix did get those 4 points. And this game, even though it's been exciting, just got more exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love you guys. I like it. We had to take a quick announcer break for selfies. Thunder has been playing since the start of Lafayette 15 years ago. She beats both of us.
Oh, wow.
100%. That's amazing. And she just got lead jammer. What good timing on that, too. All right. Alexecutioner is trying to get out for Cornfed. She is almost out as Thunder is entering that pack on her first scoring pass. Ooh. Oh, I thought she had to get recycled, but she was able to get out Alexa on that pass as Thunder and Daisy both had a little bit of a collision there, and Thunder decided to call the jam before Alexa could come through. However, Lafayette just extended their lead by another 4. 15 years of playing Derby. Like, that's something.
That is very impressive.
I think I made it 7. I can't remember if I started in season 3 or 4. I think I skated for 6 or 7 years, but I can't even imagine 15. We also both broke things.
Yeah.
I don't know if Thunder broke things, but
yeah,
we both had. I've got some hardware.
Yeah.
In that.
Yours was pretty serious.
Yeah. Yes. I went to practice in the morning and had surgery on my ankle in the afternoon. So
I just went to church and fell down.
Amy is jamming again for Cornfed, and Mars Madness is jamming for Lafayette. This is a tough group. Everybody is stuck. Rogue deciding to play some offense for Amy, trying to help her get through. That seems to have worked, and Amy is through for lead jammer. Mars Mattis looking for some offensive help, is getting shut down again by the Cornfed blockers as Lafayette is forced to abandon the offense to come back to try and block Amy as she comes in on her first scoring pass. Mars trying to push through those Cornfed. See, this is the same tripods again. These are two tough walls.
Absolutely.
Whew.
Very tiring.
Oh, Coach Kent is walking around the track to try and coach his wife to help her get through this wall, because his words are clearly inspirational, and it clearly worked because Amy is through after some verbal encouragement from Coach Husband Kent. Mars still just trying to fight through. I'm not sure. It looks like the pivot for Lafayette is really working on defense. So Mars is just focused on, nope.
Oh.
And the pivot was like, you know what, I'm going to help. And so the pivot has taken the star. So Susan B. Slamthony will be jamming for Lafayette. And Amy comes through for another 4 points. This game is now tied. The crowd has gone crazy. So I just found out that our Derby date night is going to be going a little longer because our darling children at home have requested McDonald's. So I guess that
actually doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah. It only when your kids ask for McDonald's every single time you ask them what they want, it gets a little repetitive.
I can
But
get with
no
that.
McDonald's yet because we've got a tie game here, and Addie and Thunder both are trying to get through. And I think we're taking a picture while I'm announcing of all of the retired skaters. Oh, and a spouse. See, Derby date night, again, more spouses and partners. Derby date night, when you do Derby together, you stay together. Addie is through as lead jammer, takes a huge hit from the Lafayette pivot. Thunder is also through. Addie got that huge hit, and so Thunder is actually out while Addie has been held back after that huge hit. Who was that? That was Skittles McBoom.
Good name.
She said, "Taste the rainbow."
You've been waiting for that all
I really
night.
have. The next one I'm waiting for is when Rogue does her famous bean dip, and it needs to be around cheese
100%.
because that has to happen. I'm willing it into existence. So someone needs to tell me when they see it happen. Okay, this game is so exciting. Wait, it's still tied. Okay, nobody has scored any points. Here we go. Misadventure for Cornfed and Phoenix for Lafayette. Misadventure just has one skater to get past and is able to do so and gets lead jammer, but unfortunately for her, Phoenix is right behind her. Both jammers are pretty much neck and neck. Misadventure is lead. She's debating whether or not to call it to play defense. Oh, I could tell she did not want to call that. She wanted to score those points, but she knew that it was important to not take the risk right now when this game is tied. This is a nail biter.
It really is.
Oh, I think the photo that we were just in was other people were saying goodbye. So I think we've lost some of our friends.
I think so.
They've decided to. So
being a retired skater, I can tell you our bedtime is a little earlier.
it is so much earlier
these games.
than it used to be. Do you remember how late our practices used to go? Didn't
Yes.
we practice from 9 till 11?
Absolutely. That is a terrible idea.
Right.
Who did that?
Was that you?
Maybe.
All right, Alexecutioner jamming for Cornfed. Skittles McBoom is jamming for Lafayette. Both teams know how important this jam is. Alexecutioner out as lead jammer. Skittles is like, okay, I've got to get out, and she gets out as well. So both jammers out. Alexa's going to try to score some points here. Takes a hit, calls it before Skittles can score any points. I think she got 3. Yep, 3 points. Cornfed is now in the lead for the first time this game. The crowd is loving it.
The crowd is going wild.
This is so much more exciting than the Indy 500.
Definitely. Although they are skating fast and turning left. So
Yeah. It's kind of like we're at the Indy 500 for roller derby.
only way cooler.
Yeah. You know, they're all like in a car. We just use our bodies.
Exactly.
Like, this is so much cooler. Wanda is your lead jammer. One hit. Wanda jamming for the first time, coming out and grabbing that lead jammer status. Phoenix trying to find some space, being held by these Cornfed blockers while Wanda comes in on her first scoring pass. With just determination of I am going to take these points. Phoenix also just pushing as hard as she can. Wanda trying to find that space and is called on a track cut and will be headed to the box.
Might have been a forearm. It was a forearm.
Was it a forearm? Okay. I just had one former ref and one current ref tell me that was a forearm. So, woo! All right.
Track cut.
Phoenix is now in an opportunity of, nope, you are not lead jammer. You cannot call the jam. She says no. She said, yes, I'm calling it. No, I'm not. As
You have
Wanda sits in the box.
57 seconds.
50, yep. Because nobody can call this jam. It's
Yep.
going to go the whole time. So now the goal is score as many points.
Score as many points
as you can.
possible.
See what you can do. Oh, dear. Are we losing our
Oh, it's
video
back.
feed? Is it back?
Power jam over.
Okay. Technical derby date night partner. Wanda gets through. You got to make sure we don't lose any sort of video feed right now. This is a very important game. All the technical know-how has got to be put into use. Seriously. That's your name, and I also want you to take this seriously.
Are you kidding me?
I do love our derby names.
I do. I really do.
So much fun. Okay, as all of this fun is happening, Phoenix was pushing. Wanda was pushing. Let's see. What? All right. 5 points for Cornfed, 3 for Lafayette. Cornfed up by 5. I feel nervous.
What was that?
I feel nervous.
Yeah. This is a good game.
It is. These are two very well matched teams. I would love to see this matchup again.
Yep.
I really am enjoying this matchup. I really like it when two teams are really well matched. Like the more competitive games are so fun to watch. Adderall jamming for Cornfed. Thunder jamming for Lafayette. Addie finding space on the outside to get through. Thunder really wanting to be through as well. Rogue spinning and spinning and spinning, but Thunder is able to get through Rogue's tornado as Addie comes in on her first scoring pass. Addie has a couple Lafayette blockers she needs to get past. Thunder is in the box.
I didn't see what that was for.
I didn't see what that was for either. I know that Thunder came out of halftime with 3 penalties, so I think this makes that 4. Addie coming around on another scoring pass. 1 Lafayette blocker to get through. Push to the inside by Skittles McBoom. And push to the inside again by Skittles. Addie decides to call it, but was... What happened?
He calls the jam.
She called the jam. It took a minute for the ref to decide that... I think he was
that
thinking
she
about...
could call the jam, I think.
Was he thinking about calling a penalty?
I'm not sure. There's a little discussion happening.
Yeah. I think we might have a small timeout.
This adventure heading the line against Mars.
Nope. The refs seem to be fairly certain that everything's okay. All right. That takes Cornfed's lead to 13.
Impressed by this fast math.
Mm-hmm.
And we got official timeouts.
Oh.
Oh, I was right.
You were right.
See, I love it when I predict things. So I think what happened, and I'm going to say this, and I know Melody is listening because she always knows the rules here. I think what happened is as she was calling it, the ref was trying to call a low block. It looked, a penalty of some sort. I'm taking a guess here, though, because I like to predict, so I think that's what it was. And then he was like, I don't know if I'm calling it. And then he let her call off the jam. But now they're debating whether or not she got a penalty before she called off the jam.
That's
I'm
a good
looking to
guess.
see if Melody is going to nod or shake her head. Yes. Okay. Anybody have another guess? Yeah. She was social mediating, so didn't see the penalty. Social mediaing for Cornfed.
Yeah, the pack was kind of back, so I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, I
Our
saw.
line of,
I know
sight
she
was off.
I know she was down on the ground, and I thought I
Yep.
saw the signal for low block, but I am not the best at the signals. So, if Bona, if you're still in the chat, I don't know if you saw it. This is the fun part about the live stream, is we get to say things like
We
this.
say
If I was
hi.
the in-house announcer and I was talking like this, they would shut me down so fast. Like, this is the type of stuff I am not allowed to say in-house. Well, I don't know what happened, but it looks like we're getting back to Derby. And do I see a Cornfed jammer in the box?
All right.
I don't.
Mars Madness taking on your very own.
But I do see a Lafayette pivot who was already there. So Misadventure squeaking through on the outside with some beautiful footwork, but Mars is out right behind her. Let's see if Misadventure can score any points and if she's going to call the jam before Mars can score any. She takes a huge hit to the chest and is forced to recycle back. She's letting Mars push her way through. Mars trying to tiptoe on that line, but Amy was able to push her to the inside line. Alexa getting recycled again. No pack called. The pack is forced to reform. Alexa trying to squeak by on the outside. She is able to do so to get through for 4 points. Mars able to also get out for 4 points of her own. I think, is Amy, I see Amy in the box. I don't know what happened.
Oh, no.
Okay. Ed's down and is being called on a low block. So Ed will be headed to the penalty box, and this is a power jam for March Madness.
Opportunity for Lafayette.
Mars Madness. I'm sorry, I meant to say Mars, not March. So Mars has a power jam now and is going to try and score some points to cut into Cornfed's lead. Amy is returning from the box. Another penalty being called on somebody. It's a Cornfed skater who will be headed to the box. Another penalty. And Mars is through for another 4 points. As we have 2 Cornfed skaters in the box. Alexa is returning to the track and will be eligible to score points. So, great information from the chat here. A thing happened and nothing happened, but everything happened. Social media made nothing happen. Yep, I feel exactly the same. Nothing happened. In the end, I think nothing happened.
Agreed.
Yes. But it did give us something to talk about, and during a timeout, it's always good to have something to talk about.
That is true.
Even
that
if
is true.
it results in nothing.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Love it. All right, we're in another timeout, so we need to find another thing to talk about.
Okay.
Let's think. What else do I need to ask you about the beginnings of Cornfed?
Oh, wow.
We are asking for track repair. So someone needs to come help fix the track.
And Brecken is no longer here, so she will
Brecken
not
is not
be
here.
fixing the track.
And if this was back in our day when it was time for track repair, if we were not like there immediately, that was tough.
That was, yeah.
That was tough. We would definitely hear it. I also remember it was kind of a rite of passage when you did track repair as a new skater for people to cheer for you and embarrass you and pay attention to you. So I did.
I don't know how, but I somehow got out of track repair. I also never laid the track down.
How did you get out of that?
I don't know.
We used to have to lay the track out at every single practice.
Yeah, I just didn't do it.
The skaters nowadays, they don't do that anymore. They don't have to go lay tape down and then skate for 2 hours and then pick up the tape at the end of the night.
Oh, wow.
They don't even know what it used to be like. Oh, my God, I'm talking about walking up the hill both ways in the snow.
They had it so easy.
They do. They have it so much. I mean, no minor penalties. They're not skating without gear. So, they're like
That's
safer.
helpful.
Alexecutioner jamming for Cornfed and Thunder jamming for Lafayette. Alexa getting stuck behind 4 Lafayette blockers. Thunder has to get past 2 Cornfed blockers and is able to do so, getting through as lead jammer. She looked a little confused for a second. She was like, did I hear a track cut whistle? Nope, that was lead jammer whistle for you, Thunder. Alexa still trying to find that space, is able to find it, and gets out behind Thunder, who is now on a scoring pass. This is a very important jam for Lafayette as they are only down by 6 as Alexa is approaching the pack on her first scoring pass. Takes a huge hit from one of the Lafayette blockers and is forced to recycle. Thunder getting those 4 points, coming around on another scoring pass. Watching Alexecutioner closely to try and make sure she's still stuck in that pack. Thunder approaching the pack for her second scoring pass. Is able to tiptoe through to get those 4 more points, and we just had another lead change. Lafayette is ahead now as Alexa is continuing to try and push through, looking for some help from her teammates. Thinking about taking the star off as Thunder enters the pack again on a third scoring pass and gets through for another 4 points. Alexa, she got through and has recycled in front of her, and now another Lafayette blocker is recycled in front of her. So just really struggling there, decides to pass the star to Rogue, who will now be the jammer for Cornfed as Thunder enters the pack on another scoring pass. The penalty box is empty, so we have everybody out on the track right now. I actually haven't heard a whistle in like maybe 30 seconds, so this is a nice clean jam right now as Thunder gets there was a whistle. So Thunder got through for another 4 points, and somebody is going to the box because I heard a whistle. But then I saw Rogue do a signal for no pass, no penalty. So I think Rogue was saying it wasn't. Nobody's in the box. So let's just go with the nothing happened again.
With 7 minutes and 35 seconds left.
Yes, a great shout out to Ivy for controlling merch. I was wondering where Ivy was tonight. I haven't seen her yet, and so she's here holding down the merch booth, which is a very important job.
Yes, it is.
And you know who I haven't talked about tonight, and I really shouldn't jinx anything here, but I always give a great shout out to our medics who really help keep us safe if anything happens out on the track. But I'm going to stop talking now because I'm glad that I haven't talked about them yet tonight, and I don't want to.
Yep.
As I am saying that, Phoenix was just sent to the box for Lafayette, which means Cornfed has a roller derby. Daisy Doom is jamming for the first time tonight and has established herself as lead jammer for Cornfed. Down by 3 points, Daisy has an opportunity here for another lead change while Phoenix sits in the box. So Daisy looking for some help from her blockers, trying to find some space on the inside, finds it for 4 points, and that score is now, I think, 159 to 158. So Cornfed now takes the lead in another lead switch. Phoenix is standing, so she'll be out of the box in less than 10 seconds as Daisy approaches the pack on another scoring pass, pushes Star of David to get through, is through for another 4 points as Phoenix enters the pack and will now be... I don't think Phoenix is scoring points here. I'm not sure. Daisy is coming around again on another scoring pass. Needs to get through, is able to get through for 4 more points for a total of 12. Extending that lead as much as she can. We only have less than 6 minutes left in this game, and it is still such a close game. Phoenix working, pushing, finding a space on the inside line to get through. That was not a scoring pass, so as Phoenix comes through, she will be able to score points as Daisy scores another 4, bringing her total to 16 points so far in this jam. This has been a great jam for Cornfed. Phoenix entering the pack on her first scoring pass. Really looking for any space, trying to get through, trying to find some space. Daisy entering the pack, also scoring points. Needs to get past Susan B. Smanthony. Was she just called on a...
4 points total for Daisy on that last pass.
I have words to say, but I'll just say the crowd's getting a little bit riled up here. And I think they got a little riled up about Daisy going to the penalty box at the end of that.
Is this a power jam start? It is a power jam start. Daisy extending the lead in the jammer time by getting the penalty.
Okay, Daisy starting the. Daisy is starting in the penalty box. So this is a power jam for Skittles McBoom. So Skittles is going to try to turn it around again and see if she can score enough points during this penalty to come back. But Daisy scored 16 points in that last jam. It's going to be real hard to do. Daisy is standing, so she'll be coming out of that penalty box soon. Daisy is out of the box. Skittles just... Did Skittles just get a penalty? Who got a penalty? Somebody got a penalty. Skittles is getting recycled by One Hit Wanda. I'm sorry, this game is so exciting. I'm having a really hard time calling the play-by-play. Daisy threw, but that was not a scoring pass. So she is through. Now when she comes around again, she'll be able to start scoring points. Now that time somebody did get a penalty. Okay, we've got one blocker from each team in the penalty box. Skittles is through. Oh, Rogue is also in the penalty box. So Skittles is gotten 4 points and is coming around again. There are only 2 blockers left for Cornfed. Daisy gets 4 points. More people went to the penalty box. Oh my gosh, we have a brand new Cornfed skater who was out by herself for a second, and I could not imagine being in one of my first games and being by myself out there. Daisy coming through for 4 more points as more Cornfed skaters continuing to go to the box. Skittles getting through untouched because all we have is a newer skater out on the track by themselves. Rogue is back to provide some help and some offense for Daisy, who's getting through to score 4 more points. This is a crazy jam. Oh my gosh. Skittles through again. Yep, there she goes.
And Daisy has been jamming 2 in a row.
This is wow. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Daisy scoring 12 points, Skittles scoring 16, Cornfed up by 10. Daisy, this is crazy. Amazing. Everybody, great job. This is okay, but I think how many Cornfed skaters are still in the box? And big props to, I think that was Severina Slammer, who was out there all by herself for a good portion of that jam and did a fantastic job, because it is terrifying when you are out there without any of your teammates. Would you agree?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean, when you're blocking, you always usually have
a
someone.
partner.
You don't usually end up by yourself. So fantastic job by her. All right, Addie skating for Cornfed. Mars Madness skating for Lafayette. Both jammers really want this lead jammer status. Mars takes it. Takes a big hit from Soul Seeker on the way out. Soul Seeker getting called on a low block or maybe an out of play, I'm not sure. Soul Seeker's headed to the box. Mars is lead jammer entering on the first scoring pass. The star has been passed by Addie to, I think, Grizzly. But Mars getting through for 4 points, cutting into that lead. So Grizzly Barrett is now the jammer for Cornfed, coming in to try and score some points. Mars Madness, coming on her second scoring pass, is able to get through for 8 points, cutting into that lead even more. Grizzly also scoring 4 points. 6-point game.
Wow.
Grizzly through? I can't tell. Okay. Mars called the jam after scoring 4 more points. Oh my gosh, there's only 1 minute left in this game.
I'm going to bite my nails.
I am so excited. My nails are already shot. We're both moms, and we both are very busy, and neither of our nails look very nice, so we can bite them all we want.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, this is a 4-point game.
Wow.
Cornfed is up by 4. We have 47 seconds left. Somebody called a timeout, which I would too at this point. We need to
just to get everyone to chill out for a second.
Yeah, Lafayette. They called. This is their last timeout. Cornfed still has 2 timeouts.
Cornfed is dancing.
What would you do if you were coaching? What would you decide?
Oh my gosh. I would just be biting my nails.
See, having coached before,
I'm not coached. That's the one thing I haven't really done.
Okay, so I've coached before. If I was the Cornfed coach, I would want us to get lead and probably just call it. This is not a sanctioned game. We're already in the lead.
Oh, yes.
I would be like, let's just get the lead and call it.
Good
if I were
call.
Lafayette, we got to get the lead, and then we're not calling it.
No. Yeah.
Because we got to score.
That's
we got to
fair.
score the points. Like for both teams, I think getting lead is incredibly important here. we'll see what they do. Everybody in this stadium? No, this is what is this? Barn? This is I don't know. This is a building. Everybody in the building is standing. Misadventure jamming for Cornfed. Thunder jamming for Lafayette. Misadventure pushed to the inside.
2 tough walls.
On her tiptoes. Lead jammer for Misadventure. Thunder trying to get through. Doing a spin. Looking for help. And Thunder just got called on a forearm and will be headed to the penalty box. Misadventure on a power jam for Cornfed to finish this game. The crowd is going wild as Thunder goes to the penalty box. Misadventure extends this lead by another 4 points. She is asking for the crowd to cheer her on, and they respond with excitement. This has just been beautiful. There are hugs in the penalty box. Everyone has clearly just enjoyed this game. 4 more points for Cornfed, hitting the 200 mark. Amazing job by the Muncie Misfits. Amazing job by Lafayette Roller Derby. Time is almost out. We're continuing to run this jam. I think at this point, everybody's just having fun. Ooh. Misadventure knows that she needed to avoid that track cut there that Cheese was trying to get. Thunder coming back in, coming through. The jam is called. The game is over. Cornfed went over 200. I got to announce this game with one of my best friends who taught me how to skate. Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely. This was so much fun.
Celebrating 10 years of Cornfed, ending it with a win. That was so much fun. I had a great Derby date night. I hope you did.
Absolutely. Let's do it again sometime.
Absolutely. Don't forget, like, follow, subscribe. We are on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We want to continue to bring you the best live streaming content in Indiana and beyond, as far as we can travel away from our kids, that is. But we will see you again soon. I think we've got something coming up later this month. Look out for us. We'll be around. Keep your eye out. We'll be back with more Derby in a little bit.